All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back today. We're playing more Huckleberry, and we're finishing up our Veils and Vengeance run. And if you don't know about Huckleberry, our dear friend Steven, who you see often on the channel here, is making a game. It's been up on BackerKit for the past month. It's got a couple days left, so if you're watching this right now during stream, then you could hop over onto BackerKit and you can get your own shiny copy of it. And not only the shiny copy of the game, but you can get like all sorts of other goodies, like fancy dice and dice trays and like little war bag thingies and like cool little decks of cards and stuff. So you should definitely go check it out. And yeah, and we're gonna give it a run today. We're gonna speed run a little bit through the end of Veils of Vengeance. For those of you who have actually read Veils and Vengeance, we're gonna skip over a few things as we are pressed for time. We got rid of Ashley because she just complains too much. And we brought back Long because he doesn't complain at all. Isn't that true, Long?
Great to be here, guys.
See? That's why I put him on the top row.
He didn't even take the bait.
If you're on the top row, you're okay. Yeah. Anyhow, that's what we got. Okay, so I'm guessing Steven will hop in the chat at some point and say hello as well. So again, if you're watching live, pop in the chat, say hi, hop into their Discord, ask him all sorts of questions if you have any questions about Huckleberry, and we'll go from there. But I think it's time we just jump right in because we got a lot to do. Last time around, so let's just do a quick summary. You all have been hired by the Guthrie. Well, you were originally hired by the Guthrie family to escort their family to Pemberley Ridge because their son, Silas Guthrie, the heir of the family, was supposed to marry Elsbeth Delapois, the heir of the Delapois family. And those two families, the Delapois and the Guthries, have been antagonists for forever, like long before even the migration into the New World and everything. So they were worried, specifically Eudora Guthrie, the matriarch of the Guthrie family, was very worried that something was going to go on, and that the patriarch of the Delapois was going to try to assassinate her, do something strange, something's up. And so then you guys traveled, and you traveled about a day and a half or so through this kind of swampy area where the Guthrie clan lives, up to Pemberley Ridge. Along the way, some strange stuff happened. A few Guthries were killed along the way. You got attacked by various things, including these people who were dressed in all sorts of swamp flora. And they were, you assume these are called the Weeping Folk, which is some kind of reclusive group that lives out in the swamp and doesn't like when people encroach on their territory. And they attacked you as you all were passing through it. During that time, Lullaby is ejected with several darts that knocked him out for about a day or so. The next day, you all made it to Pemberley Ridge. And as you were trying to go inside the town proper, you were summarily rebuked by other security that Phineas Delapois had put at the gate and just wouldn't let the Guthries inside, despite the fact that you were the groom's party. And so you all and Silas Guthrie, the groom, decided to head up to Delapois Manor and sit down and talk with Phineas Delapois. You also met Elsbeth, the bride. And Phineas tried to hire you guys away from the Guthries, saying that, well, the Guthries are going to assassinate him, and he knows that they're going to assassinate him, and wanted you guys to sort of play double agents and figure out who it was that Eudora had sent to assassinate him. And he kind of knew this. And that's kind of where we left off, with you all having your meeting and agreeing to work for Phineas Delapois. And that's where we're at. Okay. So we're going to pick up we're going to start a little differently to kind of get Lullaby back into the action here. Let's see. Let me do a little music. So we open up black screen, and we hear the sounds of, like, I don't know, like first breathing, maybe a little bit of snoring. And then we hear something. We're inside. We're clearly inside. You can kind of tell that there's a partially closed window shutter. We can see the contours of like a bed, a table, dresser, stuff like that. We hear the sounds of something scattering and rattling around outside the window, and then a very loud crash. And as that loud crash happens, Lullaby, your eyes open, you are awake, you are in the dark, your eyes are just adjusting here. You see no one around you. You're in a bed. You're kind of covered with various blankets and such. You feel some kind of bandage along your neck. You don't see anyone around, but you hear various sounds coming from outside. What do you do, Lullaby?
Papa, we are under attack.
You look around and you call out. You hear the sounds of no one coming to you. Your eyes continue to adjust. You're not Zach. You're not like you're in a bed. You're not in a home, but you can smell this. You can smell like various fragrances, and you can see on the walls. There's no light. There's no like lantern, but there's definitely some moonlight or starlight maybe wafting in from outside that gives you the look of a handful of like herbs and jars and such. It looks like you're in some kind of like apothecary hut or something like that.
I'll pull myself out of bed. See where look around, look outside maybe where that loud crash, the noise came from.
Yeah, you look around a little bit. You there's a door in the room. There's a window in the room. If you peek out the door, it just goes to what looks like the front of a shop. If you look through the window, you kind of push the shutters. You look outside. It's dark. It's nighttime. Last thing you remember was getting ambushed on the road, and these people coming out of the swamps dressed like they themselves were some kind of almost like a like flora monster, like a plant monsters coming out with long sweeping vines and weird like almost antler like things coming out of their heads. And when you look outside, you see like someone knocked over a crate and it's splintered onto the ground, and you hear like the distant sound of maybe music, but then you hear some shuffling. And when you look off to the left a bit, you can see there's movement in the shadows outside, but you can't quite see. What do you want to do?
I'll stay hidden in the dark and try and follow the shadows. Make sure that I'm not seen.
Okay, give me a skullduggery test here, since you're trying to be all sneaky. I would say
Okay.
you can make an argument for a couple different things, but I think quick makes sense here, maybe, or you could say reckon, maybe, to keep track of the sound. One of those two, probably.
Yeah, I'll go with the quick skullduggery.
Okay.
Rolled an 8. I don't think I have any
probably
aces.
have an ace. I don't remember if you had any left over or not. What's that?
How many do we start with? Don't we start with a couple?
You start with one. You start with a bounty with one.
I love that. We start with 4, right? Right.
We start with 4. We start with max, right?
Right.
Yeah. We could just say we passed the roll, right?
So 1 would put... Wait, would that pass? I forget if you get +2.
Yeah, you get +2 if you decide to spend it on a roll.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. Just spend the ace I have.
Okay. So you're a little groggy. You're a little stiff. You've probably been laying down for, you're not sure how long, but definitely for some time. Someone brought you inside of town, so there's that. That's good at least. But you climb out into the alley through the window, and you continue following through this kind of strangely angled alley. Like you pass away from the building that you were in. You kind of go across this really tight like intersection that's barely wide enough for someone to slip down. Maybe you see like a cat or a couple rats or so moving down it. You hear the sounds of the clitter, the something again up ahead, and you're really following more by sound than you are by sight. And then, like, as you're moving, the sound kind of stops for a second, and you look forward and you see like where these two other buildings seem to converge in this odd angle. And the moonlight comes down a bit, and you see something moving in the dark. And then as the moonlight hits it, you see what looks at first like one of those people that attacked you on the road. You see like this long flora hanging down from the head. You can see it looks like reeds and vines, and in some cases it looks like these almost branches. Except as you like sneak a little bit closer, it starts moving and shifting, and you see it has like one of those bark-like masks, but as you're watching, the mask is shifting and moving. It's not like one singular face. What do you do?
Must have been kidnapped and taken alive. There must be others around. I must find them. Let's see if there's any nearby buildings or where that creature is headed into. There's a building.
Okay. So you want to try to like sneak up and see what it's doing?
Yeah, I'll keep on tracking it. Make sure I don't lose it.
Okay. Yeah, no reroll necessary. So you continue to track it. And then you see it kind of moving about. And then suddenly coming up out of one of the shadows is you just see almost looks like a rope, like someone has just thrown like a lasso up. But it's not a lasso. It's just like this vine that just lunges out and wraps onto the eave of one of these buildings. And you see whatever this thing you're following is, this weeping folk, pulls itself up. And then a second one of these vines reaches out to the other building on the other side and wraps around the eave and kind of pulls it up even further. And then you see a third one of these vines reaches out like almost towards a chimney and continues to try to pull it up. And you realize with alarm that it is not a weeping folk. It's something different. Let me show you what you see here. You see it's like a tangling of different vines and reeds and foliage, but you see no signs of human legs, boots, as you just see this tangled bit of swamp flora just undulating upward onto the roof. What do you do?
There's something strange here. I'll try not to encounter it while I'm alone. So I'll enter nearby buildings, maybe find any signs of life.
Okay, yeah, you go up to a building, you try to push into one door, it's locked, and you go into another, push up against the door, it's locked. And then you start to hear the sounds of music and merriment again. Like you can hear the sounds of cheers, you can hear the sounds of like music playing in the distance. Then you hear just like a and you look back over your shoulder and you see the creature you were following has just kind of launched itself up into the air, like essentially slingshotting itself with the eaves and with the chimney, and it just kind of tangles around in the air for a bit and then scurries away, completely out of sight. You don't know if it ever saw you. It certainly didn't. If it did, it didn't attack you, but it is now completely out of sight. And the only signs of you not being alone is the sounds of music somewhere in the distance.
I'll start moving in that direction where I hear the sound.
Okay. And so you find yourself like in this moment where you're moving down these alleyways that are entirely unfamiliar to you. And it's not laid out in like a smooth and easy grid fashion. And there's like layers upon layers. There's like different levels, I mean, like, and you can see like you have to go down one slope and then up another and then weaving around until eventually you find yourself staring at what looks like a celebration of some kind. All of these various lights, almost like street lamps. They're not torches though, as you look more closely at it. Instead, the light itself seems to be brighter, like almost white, as opposed to like the orange color of a torch or a lantern. And these various like these iron poles at various spots at these different intersections of these larger streets where these globes sit atop them. And then you see hanging from each of those poles and from some of the eaves and the windows, more of that like flora. Like it almost like you maybe a start for a second as you think you see another one of those creatures, but instead it's just this tangled bit of reeds and moss, but then these beautiful swamp flowers and these mountain flowers. And then you look around and you can see there's people dancing, and you've reached some kind of town square. And there's have to be at least 36 people. You can see some large banquet tables have been laid out. You can see a couple people you recognize from the Guthrie family sitting, looking very unhappy. You can see at the front of the banquet table there is Silas Guthrie, and he is sitting next to a young woman, and the two of them are looking very lovey-dovey at each other. On the other side of her is a well-dressed, severe-looking man, kind of a well-groomed beard. And on the other side of Silas, you see Dora Guthrie. And you also see, shifting about amongst the crowd, because there's a crowd that's dancing, and there's other like scattered tables here and there, you see Petra and you see Lena. So I'm going to toss it over to, we'll start with Petra. Petra, what do you think you're doing right now as you are at the rehearsal dinner for these two families? It's been about a day and a half that you've been under the, or at least on the payroll of both Phineas and maybe Eudora at the same time. It's kind of up to you whether or not you told her, or you're just like kind of keeping the fact that you're working for both sides secret. What do you think Petra is doing right this moment?
I would say right this moment, Petra she's more into sort of the skullduggery side of things. So she's definitely not cutting a rug out there kind of with all of this dancing going on. She's more wallflowery, even though it's kind of outside.
Oh dear. Well, it's being attacked. Look out. It's being attacked by the cough monster.
Sorry, not only do I have frog's legs, I apparently have one hanging on my throat.
I would also say you're not, so to give you a second, like, you probably wouldn't be out there dancing considering you're working right now. You're working the crowd. You're security. So like you don't have like an invitation to this party. Like you're not up, you're actually supposed to be here watching and looking potentially for assassins, for anything that might be going wrong, either from the perspective of the Guthrie clan or from the Doubleclaw clan. So what do you think Petra's doing?
Yeah, so I would say Petra is kind of hanging out on the edges. She is, I'm imagining almost kind of doing the thing where you see at like football games where you see the security kind of like has their back to the game and they're kind of like looking up in the stands a bit. And so she sort of almost has that where she's kind of keeping an eye in kind of the shadows and kind of seeing what's out there, because there's all these lights and, people here. And so she's kind of like wandering around the edges and kind of looking out into, kind of a little more of the darkness to see what there is to see.
I like it. Give me a test here. We'll say you can do, if you're studying, are you studying do you think you're studying people, or are you just, like you said, you're just kind of looking for anything out of the ordinary?
The latter, I would say. She's checking the shadows, and it could be someone who drunkenly wandered off, but making sure nothing sneaks up on us.
This feels like a reckon test, and I'll let you make a case for what you want to do with skill. I could see a case for like bushcraft because it's kind of, but like you're in a city, so maybe not. I could see a case for education. I could see a case for expression, even if you're trying to read the body language of people coming and going from the square. So I think there's a lot of different ways you can flavor that. So whatever makes sense for you.
Yeah, and I think just mechanically,
even skullduggery.
I've got a D8 for most of those, so I'm just going to do a D8 and a D12. That is a 14.
Oh my. All right. 14 is great. You can go ahead and that's 2 aces right there, unless you want to sweeten. But I'll tell you this. One of the things you see, in addition to seeing Lullaby suddenly stumbling out of the shadows, you also see at one point as the dancing is happening out in front here, you see for a moment what looks like a face of bark, much like you recall from the swamp path here. You just see it there, and then someone kind of dozy-does in front of it, and then it's gone. And then you look over towards the towards the alleyway where Lullaby is stumbling out of. And you swear for a moment there's like, just like that night when you first arrived at the Guthrie compound, behind a chimney, you swear you see a face just kind of leaning out from behind a chimney.
Lullaby, it's very good to see you up and about. I will be right back, though. And she is going to kind of dart in the direction of where she thinks she saw the face behind the chimney.
Okay, it is on it is in a chimney, so you'd have to climb up. Is that something you're looking to do?
I do have frog's legs, so I can jump 20 feet high.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah, you can. All right, so we'll just say you do. You leap up, and you like land on top of this sort of shingled roof. We'll say, kind of like really rough shingles, almost like clay-like, and stuff scatters about a bit. And you rush over, and right behind that chimney, much like the night in the Guthries, you see a large effigy. Again, the size of maybe a barrel.
So Petra will, she will grab that, but she will continue scanning to see sort of what left this here.
Okay, welcome. Looking. We see now as we cut to Lena. Lena, what do you think Lena has been doing as the night has progressed? This kind of rehearsal for the wedding that's going to take place tomorrow, kind of going through and trying to make sure everything, no strangeness. You're supposed to be looking for threats. You're kind of loosely on, maybe secretively, on both the Delapoirs and the Guthrie's payroll at the same time. What do you think Lena's up to?
I think Lena's with Petra, like just kind of keeping an eye on stuff. So probably just like on the other side of the room, but also kind of doing this scouting Overwatch thing, and specifically keeping an eye on first name I don't remember, I'm so sorry, but the Patriarch Guthrie, who was thank you, Phineas Guthrie, who was worried about being an assassin target himself, and who said that she wanted to do it with when they got up here. So she is specifically looking for threats to him within more broadly.
Give me a similar thing, a test of some kind. I think Reckon makes sense, but then you can flavor the skill based upon what you're doing. Skullduggery if it's just general looking for any kind of ambushes or thieves moving about, or expression if you're maybe trying to read body language.
If you take Skullduggery, I'd love to give it that.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay. That's 2d8s. So that's a 7 and a 6.
Okay, so a 13, so that's got one raise to it, so you can go ahead and take an ace there. Okay, so similar to Petra, I'll say you also see Lullaby kind of stumbling. You're on the other side, though, of this courtyard where this rehearsal dinner is taking place, and you see like Petra like rush past Lullaby, who's like stumbling out of this shadowy alley, and then you see Petra kind of rush past him, but then you look over towards the banquet table and you see Elsbeth, the younger Delapois, like she has moved over, and it looks like they're giving like both. Looks like the children are giving like presents to their parents, and she's just like, "Now my father is a very difficult man for some of you to get along with, but for some of us it's quite easy. Things have not been things have not always been smooth since my mama passed, but my father has had to be both father and mother, but he's also had to be, well, a leader to this town. And I know that although I have no siblings, Pemberley Ridge is very much like a part of the family. And so, Papa, I got this for you." And you see she places like right in front of him this large, kind of wrapped up square. And as he kind of like, "Oh, well, Thank you very much, child. I'm very pleased with your. Well, you're a wonderful woman. And he like stands up and he starts unwrapping it. And as you see him like unwrapping it, you notice that it's a painting of some kind. And you look a little bit more closely, and you see that it's like a. Well, it kind of looks almost at first it looks just like this weird juxtaposition of angles and triangles, but as your eyes kind of look at it a little bit further and further, you see what looks like a portrait, but it's like an abstract portrait of Phineas's face, that angled, severe face, and you can see the background, not unlike what you're looking up at with the moonlight, is Delapois Manor up on the ridge that overlooks the town, except it's like ablaze and such. She's just like, I know sunset is your favorite time of day, and so that's what I made sure the artist painted for you. And I know that you yourself are one for realism, but I thought maybe just once you'd like this. And he's like kind of staring at it and holding back, and you can see he's got this puzzled expression. You can hear some of the Guthries are kind of chuckling at it. And then as that's happening, you see like Petra leap up onto the rooftop. And then then your eye kind of peers over to like a different rooftop in the distance, and you swear you just see something like moving across it. And it's in the distance, because you look up for a second to kind of compare the backdrop of the portrait to the backdrop of Delapois Manor itself. And it's like a silhouette just moving from one rooftop to the next. It looks just like almost like a tumbleweed that just blows from one. It's like a good 100 feet away, 200 feet away, but like you can see it there and it catches your attention.
Okay. Petra's obviously seen something and going after it, and someone needs to fucking stay here, so I'm going to stay here and continue to keep an eye and be very bemused about the painting and kind of focus on that over Phineas' shoulder.
Okay, so you're just looking and watching, and you maybe like overhear Eudora say something along the lines of, I didn't realize drunken fools gets to be painting. I've met a crocodile out in the swamp that's got more artistic sensibility than whoever painted this. And like Silas is like, Mama, please now, we are under, this is not the type of decorum for this place. And then you hear like Phineas speak up. Well, I'm not surprised that the first bit of indecency is handed out by Guthrie. What are you trying to say? And then that just unravels into this horrible argument. Like they're like, you just hear insult, each of them passing back to each other, stuff about like snobbery and patriarchy and rich folk and just indecency, and then others about like just the mud, swamp, barefoot, losers sitting in the swamp. And it kind of goes back and forth, and then you see fights begin to break out as like these Lether Delapois and Guthries are like kind of shoving matches out, and the dancing that was supposed to be taking place isn't actually happening.
Lena's gonna get involved with any of the fights and try and separate them and try to physically de-escalate wherever she can.
So you move about, you start trying to physically separate. Let me cut back to Lullaby. Lullaby, you watch Petra rush past you. Then you hear like shouting start to happen and shoving matches start to happen. You see Lena get lost amidst this throng of people that just start shoving each other. Lullaby, what are you doing?
Everyone, we're in danger. Get cover. There's a flying bush.
And give me a test to see if you can get people's attention at this point, because like it got a little loud. So I think expression and then spirit maybe,
okay.
Or
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, or you can even do grit if you think it's more like an intimidation situation.
No, I'm not really intimidating anyone. Just warning them of the danger.
Okay.
What the heck's a D12 look like?
Like a D20, but with not as
Okay,
many
yeah.
points.
Got it.
It's a candy. How can you forget?
Wow.
Yo, I fucking love D12s.
They are the best.
Rolled an 11.
11. Okay, that's a success. No raises. You don't get the attention of the entire crowd, but you do catch the attention of, we'll say, Avery Hollister, the like the older, kind of slender, kind of quiet gentleman who is the right hand man of Eudora, who looks up from where he's sitting at the table a few seats away from where Eudora and Silas are now trying, like they're arguing, and Silas is trying to calm them down. Avery looks over and he sees you, and you see he gets up and he comes over. Well, Lullaby, pleased to see you up and about. What did you just say?
Avery, you are still breathing. There's a creature flying on the rooftops.
Creature flying on the rooftops. What kind of creature there, Lullaby?
It's very leafy and viney. Very tendrily.
You sure? This wasn't just you having a nightmare, Lullaby?
I'm sure I followed it from my abode.
You see, I'll say with your expression, he has, like, you pass your test, you can see he looks concerned, like as if what you're describing concerns him in some way. And so he starts actually looking up at the rooftops. Do you say, "Hello there, Petra? What do you see up there, girl?"
Well, I've seen another effigy, like the ones that we had seen over just outside the Guthries, but I am in pursuit of some other creature that's hopping along in that a ways.
You see it as well? Lullaby isn't just having some trouble here?
No, sir.
He's been out for almost 2 days now.
No, sir. Saw it with my own eyes.
And he, like, looks back towards where, like, this melee has started to happen. And then he kind of shakes his head. All right, I suppose we should go looking. And then all of a sudden, all of you, depending on where you're at, so Petra, you have like a bird's eye view of this, of the entire square, where all of those, like, essentially they're like street lamps with these bright globes, because that's what's lighting up this whole place. You don't see torches, you don't see lanterns. It's like some kind of strange technology. You see each one of them just goes one by one. Every single one of them suddenly starts to explode, and like it kind of cascades. You see these little blue lines of electricity like arcing between them, and then the entire place is just suddenly shrouded in this darkness. And you hear people start to scream. Like Lena, you get like a stray punch to the jaw, and then you knock someone down. People start screaming, tumbling over each other, and then Petra, up on the rooftop, you see something swing and almost like catapult up into the sky, and then land somewhere else deeper into the town somewhere. But we're going to ante up currently. Petra, I'm going to say that with you up top. I'm gonna start actually with Lena in the midst of the. I'm gonna start with Lena. I think in the midst of the throng of people, as everyone begins to panic now, because not only is like everything suddenly exploding, but all of you would recognize the sudden. You hear this like drumming sound. And it's like happening from, is it over there to the north? No, it's over there to the east. No, it's over there to the south. And it's like all over these different places, and people are starting, it's getting louder and louder. The music, the band has faded completely. People are screaming and panicking, and everyone starts running this way and that. So I'm gonna start with Lena. Lena, in the midst of this, I need you to make a spirit test as you feel like something move over top of your head. You swear something just swooped over top of you. Not like someone leaped over you, like something just flew over top of you. Right. And you feel like the wind just sweep with you. When you look up for a second, it's as if like you can see the residue of whatever passed by over top of you swirling for a moment, and you get this like dizzy moment.
Spirit test is spirit and weird, right?
That's correct. Yeah, or spirit save. Excuse me. Yeah, spirit save.
So spirit is D6, my weird is D10.
Okay.
So let me give it that.
All right.
That is 4 and a 3, unfortunately, but I'll spend an ace to get me, or 2 aces to get me past 10.
Okay. 2 will get you to 11, which means you'll pass. And you look up again, and like you get your like a very momentary sense of like vertigo, as if everything just kind of swirled above you. This dizzying pattern. The stars themselves almost seem to be swirling for a second, and then you see like a shadow just, and then someone smashes into you and kind of like knocks you out of it. Over by we'll say Lullaby and Avery, the two of you are like sitting here in the midst of this alleyway opening. Petra has just leapt up and is like calling down from above. Everything just exploded. All the lights are out. It's dark as can be. Lullaby, I need you to make a reckon save. As you're looking around, you hear the voice of Avery calling up to Petra, like, "What do you say, girl?" And then you hear the sounds of the thrumming, the drumming from the swamp, and then something hits you, and then something other hits you, and then suddenly you're swept up in this wave of panicked people rushing away from the square. So I need you to give me a reckon test to try to like kind of navigate through like this throng of people.
Okay. I do have
save.
Yeah, save. I have a D8 in reckon.
This is also, by the way, face card, so this is increasingly bad.
Oh, I missed it by 1. I rolled a 9.
Oh, that's a shame. You get kind of swept up in it, and like it's almost like the undertow of like a current of ocean, but it's people that you're just kind of getting moved and tossed around, and like you hear Avery's voice like fade from you as he calls out "Lullaby," and you get kind of pushed back into the very alleyways, those dizzying angled alleyways, and you get thrown to the ground, trampled on for a second. You look around, and you see on the like the far edge where these two buildings kind of converge into this shadow. You just see people rushing towards where that pinch is, and then you see like on the right side and the left side, it's like black shadow, and then in the center there's like a little bit of light, and like the throng of people are rushing down the middle. But then you just see like it's almost like the shadows just like reach out and just grab like two people rushing past and pull them in, and then pull them in, and then you feel something like push your head down, and you take a minor injury, and your weird die decreases from your failure. And when you look back up, you see that the alleyway has suddenly cleared as everyone has rushed away from you, and you're kind of like stuck now in the middle of this alley. And then up top, Petra, while you have better vision of what's happening, you don't have a ton of light, but there is still moonlight and starlight coming down. And for you, it's a little bit easier. You can see this throng of folk. Okay. I need you to make a spirit save as well, as that same sudden gust of wind, as you're leaning and looking down and watching Lullaby just kind of get caught up in this wave of people. You feel this something move right over top of you. And when you look back up, you see the tail end of what looks like some long slender thread of like a vine, but then everything starts to swirl, and you feel almost like you're gonna fall off the rooftop.
Okay, so I rolled like shit, so I am going to decrease my weird die to reroll. Because I just increased my weird die. I think I misspoke. I cashed in the sleeved aces to increase it from a D8 to a D10. And now I'm going to spend down from a D10 to a D8 to reroll, because I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Okay.
Oh, man. 8.
Okay. It was just a 7, so it wasn't a face card like it was for Lullaby.
I'm going to spend a sleeved ace for +2 to pass.
Okay, then you do pass.
Using all the resources.
And so right as it looked like you were going to fall over the side of this from the dizziness, you managed to steady yourself. Maybe the very like effigy that you're holding in your hand, you kind of use to balance yourself. And before you fall, like you kind of turn and you see disappearing across the rooftops and then ducking down into an alleyway a few blocks over, whatever it was that you saw jumping from one place to the next. It almost just looked like a tumbleweed, just like tumbling over top of the rooftops. And then it just disappears and you kind of get your head back. And then moments later, you hear the sounds of like, we would know it as electricity. I'm not sure how well people in this setting would recognize it immediately, but you just hear this like crackling and you see a couple of those globes begin to come back on. Some of them are fractured. You can see the glass is shattered. Others are partially intact, but you can see light begin to come back to this entire square. Lena, Lullaby as well. Lullaby, you're in the alley, so it's probably still a little bit darker. Lena, you can see disarray. People on the ground. You can see like there's some people who are wounded. Others have ducked underneath tables. Tables have gotten knocked over. The whole place has kind of has this scattered look to it. What are you all doing?
Petra would want to keep chasing after this thing, and she would just sort of like give a yell. It went this way. It went this way. And she's going to keep, because she has 30 foot of horizontal jumping with her frog's legs. So she has every faith that she can kind of close the distance.
Okay. So you just go rushing and leaping. I'm not going to make you make a test since it's your thing. You're leaping and you're leaping. You're just like racing across the rooftop. Stuff's falling. You hear people screaming from below. Here and there throughout the city, like this little town, you hear like a shout here or a shout there, and then suddenly the drums go silent. That you've been hearing before. What about you, Lullaby? You got your head smashed down into the ground. You look up, and the alleyway is now empty. You hear the sounds of footsteps. You see Avery is rushing towards you.
I'll stand up. Everyone, gather back at the square. We can't be running off and separated. Try and
call out,
rally everyone.
Barely hears all of that. Yeah, and you just kind of call out to other people, and you see maybe a couple stragglers like come back, but definitely doesn't look like as many people are coming back from where they ran as those that did run. And lingering in the back of your head is just like that shadowed wall, like something just reached out and like grabbed them, and it just maybe you banged your head too hard.
I could take a closer look at the walls, run my hands across, see if there's anything there.
You go up to it and it's like there's not even like there's some light cracks here and there, but nothing outrageous. There isn't even a window on this wall because it's facing into the alley. There's not even a window here. It's just a sheer wall in the back of one of these storefronts. Lena, what do you think you're doing? As you were probably the closest to the actual square still, where you can kind of see your charge, like who you're supposed to protect. You can see some of them are laying on the ground. You can see some of them are standing up. You can see some of them are like kind of shaking off whatever just happened. And you can see Phineas is standing, is like calling out, and you see he's yelling at this figure that's standing right next to him. The figure itself, I'll say that you probably have met this man or this person, wiry thin. They've got these like ill-fitting facial features, like ill proportioned, like a larger nose than you would think for a face, larger cheekbones. But this person is Dr. Swain, which is some kind of business associate of Phineas, known for people like you've heard probably a reputation that he's helped Phineas kind of explore the terrain, sort of exploit the mountain, that kind of thing. And you see the two of them are arguing, but it definitely seems that Phineas is doing most of the yelling. So what do you want to do, Lena?
I want to go up to them and I want to hear the conversation.
Okay. I would say no roll for this. You just start to move a little bit more closely, and you hear Phineas is like, I don't want your excuses, Doctor. Merritt, this is my daughter's wedding bra. Your contraptions are as much a problem as they are a benefit to this town. If this is how you're... Well, hello there, Miss Lena. And as he sees you approaching at this point. And you could tell he was like chastising Dr. Swain for whatever went down in with these globes and such. But as you approach, he notices you and he sees you.
Mr. Guthrie, you need to get inside the house. And she kind of pulls out her gun, and it's clear she's looking for where the drumming is coming from.
He looks at you in horror. Now, what did you just call me? I am not Mr. Guthrie.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was on my therapist.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
No,
pull out the gun.
No worse offense was ever spoken.
You look around, and you realize right as you start looking around, that's about when about the time the drumming starts to subside. And like, yeah, I'll say Phineas says, it's like, perhaps you all right? Elsbeth, Dr. Swain, and he calls after a couple other cousins. You're going to retreat to Delapois Manor and let these mavericks do what they do best and sort out just what in fact happened here this evening.
And at that, Lena will take take that as a sign of yes, and will yell to whoever can hear, "Shoot us with me, everybody else find cover."
Okay, so you can see laying on the ground, there are, so as Phineas calls out and starts to walk away, you can see Elsbeth rushes towards him, Dr. Swain's there, a couple others. But there's also one or two, there are bodies on the ground. Like literal bodies that aren't getting up, that aren't moving about. You can see Eudora gets up. You can see Silas seems to be in good condition, but Eudora is like bleeding from her forehead. And you can see like a couple Guthries are laying on the ground, not waking up. And she's like coming over. Wake up. Hi. And then she rolls over one of her cousins, and you can see one of her cousins just has like a knife, just like right up through the throat. And then we'll say like as you look over towards where Phineas is starting to walk away, Elsbeth's like, "Oh dear!" And she rushes down to where there is a well-dressed woman, cousin, and is like shaking this well-dressed woman. And as she rolls her over, you can see like part of her head has been caved in.
She's gonna tell you, like, she's gonna make it a point to pass Eudora and tell her to find cover as well. And then continue to where she thinks she hears the drums.
So Eudora gets a find cover. Find cover. Find my knife in the back of that son of a bitch's head. And then you see she like pulls this long knife out and is staring directly at Phineas and is getting ready to rush him. What do you do, Lena?
Can I try and disarm her?
Absolutely, you can. This sounds like a brawl test to me.
You got this, old lady.
Oh man. I'm just trying to see if I have anything that can.
Okay.
Okay. What if I say to her, Eudora, not now, and I try for an expression instead of brawl? Because
okay,
I have like, chewing tobacco that gives me a bonus expression.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine. You try to just like step in front of her and like stare her down.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Like
when you spit your tobacco, you mean business.
Okay.
And I find chewing tobacco pretty disgusting, so Stephen let me reflavor it as something else, which I'll come with later. But mechanically, I think it pushes my expression up from a D6 to a D8.
Go for it.
And that's what do you want with that, Jeff?
Since you're doing this, I would say probably spirit.
Thank you.
Well, actually, no. I guess you could make the case as grit too if you're doing intimidation.
If you don't mind grit, I would love to grit because I've a deep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okie doke. That's a 10 out of 4, 14.
Okay, so you can go ahead and sleeve 2 aces. I'll say she's just. She looks at you. You're probably a little bigger than she is, but she's kind of made of very, very, very tough stuff. But she'll go ahead and she'll better find out just who did this. I know he isn't man enough to knife in himself, but I'm sure one of them did. And she gets like really close to you at this point. You better find out who it is. If another one of my family falls, I'm not going to be very happy.
I'm going to find out.
She puts the knife back in. She turns. A couple of the other Guthries kind of go with her. She starts calling out, Avery, Silas, get over here. You see Silas is just like scurrying towards her like a scared little dog. Okay. Petra, you've been racing around. Give me a bushcraft test, and I would say probably reckon.
All right, I can do that. That's an 11.
Okay, you look around, and a couple times you think you see whatever it was that you were chasing, but as you get there, you realize it's just decoration. All throughout this town, they've been, decorating in anticipation of this big event.
Yeah.
So there's all these different like mixtures of like mountain flora and swamp flora. It's like the blending of these two families, right? And so you see these flowers, these reeds, and this moss, and every now and then you come up to it and you're like, you think, but no. And you do, however, notice like off in the distance, like forever away, because you did succeed. You think you see something, not in the town itself, but kind of moving across the ridge, on top of which is the manor, the Delapois Manor, that large manor. And so you're looking out, and you swear you just see something moving along, like that kind of cliff face. So like there's a so if you recall, like Delapois Manor is where obviously the Delapois family, specifically Phineas, lives, and it's that large kind of almost medieval like keep or castle, like overlooking this town below it. And there's that cliff face, and you swear for a moment, it could just be the shadows, could be weird shadows, but that's the only place where you see anything out of the ordinary. But right here in the town, nothing.
Blast it!
And you hear Lena at this point shouting from back the way you came.
And Petra's kind of talking to herself, like, blast it! How did I lose track of him? That blasted drumming. That means nothing good. And she's kind of looking around, and she hears Lena, and so she'll kind of jump off the kind of rooftop that she's been on, and she'll kind of make her way back to the rest of the group. And she's still going to kind of keep her eyes and ears peeled as she's going, but she'll go back.
Okay. And we'll say it's probably around this point. We'll say that the three of you, maybe with Avery as well, kind of come together in the midst of this square. A couple dead bodies, a couple injured people that are getting up at this point as well. As directed by Lena, the major parties have since departed. I would say the only real known NPC that lingers behind is Avery momentarily. And then the three of you all coming together. We'll say, for the sake of giving a reason why Dora's not here, maybe Dora is like back at the Guthrie camp, and it's just like running security back there, we'll say, because that's still outside the city. Okay, so you guys are all together. Avery's with you. You all saw some weird stuff. You guys doing anything? Saying anything? Talking? Thinking?
There were deaths when I woke up. There were deaths before I went to sleep. What has been happening?
Lullaby, I'm so very glad that you are awake. We're very concerned about you. It's beyond my capabilities to raise you a couple days before. I wasn't the only one that heard the drumming, right?
I heard it too. But I assume we've made it to the Yellow Paws area. Even he isn't safe.
We have been. We made our way here in relatively short order, and she'll kind of lean in and sort of whisper in Lullaby's ear. We are currently employed by both families, so we are looking to keep everyone safe, as it were.
We have failed at that already. 2 are dead.
Well, good morning to you too, Grumpy Pants. We are looking to see what we can see. I saw, and she's got this effigy, and so she'll kind of, this is just like the one that we found just outside the Guthrie's that first night we were there, and now they're showing up here, and I chased something looked darn near a tumbleweed, but like moving about a bit.
Yes, I saw that too. So the weeping folk, they are here? Whose knife is this? I'll pull it out of the head. Take a look at it.
What did you pull out? I'm sorry.
The knife. You said there's a knife in one of the family members' heads?
Yeah, there's a knife in one of the families. So you come over and like one of the Guthries has been stabbed. So I'll say this one is this one's Leander, who is the troubadour. If you all recall, he was the one who thought he could sing, and no one else agreed with him.
Right.
I love him.
Counting. Yeah, sorry. You should have kept him alive. Then. I'm just saying.
It'd be better.
Clearly, it's your fault. So John, the big guy, the big bellicose guy, he's dead. Iona, she was the one who liked animals that Lullaby and Petra met the first night at the Guthrie camp. She's died. You know that there's like the scholarly person, Cedar, who nearly got sucked down into the swamp when she fell off the horse when you all were attacked in the swamp, but they survived. And then you know Cordelia, which is like a very tall person. You saw her walking off with you, Dora. And there's also Avery, who I'll say is next to you, but not so close to have heard everything that you just said. So there's that. So yeah, you would see the face of Leander, surprised, confused. The knife, when you look at it, it is nondescript. It doesn't seem to have like any insignia on it that suggest it is like there's nothing about it that kind of stands out to you, but you do notice like it was made here in Pemberley Ridge. It has like the maker's mark of the Pemberley smith, the metal worker here. Petra, give me since you were talking, give me like should have thought about this some more. Give me like an expression. No, give me like an education test with maybe reckon.
All right, that's one of the best things that I can roll. She says as she rolls a 19.
Holy crap. Okay. So, do you want to spend 2 of the ones that you just would have earned to get a bunch of it? I'm about to give you a flashback to maybe the day before.
Perfect.
Or earlier today.
So cool.
So as Lullaby pulls this out and you see the maker's mark of the metalworker, we get a flashback and we see Petra doing some rounds. Maybe it was earlier today. Maybe it was yesterday evening. It was daytime though. And we just see her moving about. This is before obviously the rehearsal dinner. And we see Petra move up to where there's like an argument that seems to be transpiring. You can hear the sounds of loud voices. And when you push open the door into the metalworker's hut where the voices are coming from, everything quickly quiets down. And you see there is Dr. Swain, the figure that was at the right side of, or at least I would say near where Phineas was during the banquet. And the metal worker, you just know him as Gavin. And you can see the two of them are arguing. And as you arrive, like Dr. Swain says something along the lines of like, well, don't let it happen again. And then abruptly turns and moves past you. Good day. Politely but curtly. And then we see you maybe moving about inside of the metalworker's place, and like maybe you're talking. Like again, all of this is a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
And we see you kind of talking with the metalworker. What would you think Petra would have like kind of followed up like with like questions and things like that?
Yeah, like probably gone in the, kind of like working man, so to speak, of like, like upset the paying customers. That never goes well.
And so we just see like this conversation start to unfold, and like the metal worker's like, you don't know the half of it. He's well paying, but the orders have become a bit more challenging. It provides me with all manner of interesting jobs, strange shapes and designs. Often using the copper of the mountain, chains and tubes, other tools or metals, and they always have me. Well, here I have one. And he pulls out from behind unfinished area, like where the forge is, this chain that you can see is undone, like it's not quite finished. And he shows you this, and it's got that maker's mark that spurned this memory on. And you can see like etched into the chain are all these like little glyphs and imagery of some kind, like very fine tuning stuff. He's like, I'm a metalworker, I'm not an engraver. I'm getting very tired of them being very upset with my inaccuracy. I've warned them. These hands were not one for such intricate work. Dr. Swain is very insistent. And then like you can see sprawled about are all these different schematics and such, like weird, strange schematics for different gadgets and machinery that just don't really make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I would agree. That seems much more like the work of a jewel crafter than someone like yourself that's made to build things with some heft on them. My word. And then she'll, while she's saying that, take a peek at the designs that are there.
And as like the metalworker goes back and kind of puts some stuff away, you take an opportunity to kind of slip through, and you can see like all of these different parts and tubes and connections. Like you start to realize it's like a puzzle piece. It's like a series of puzzles. Like all these different pieces kind of come together. It's not just like one individual design, but rather a series of designs that are interconnected. Like one of them almost looks like an arm, and like there's like two different parts of the arm, the sort of the bicep part, the forearm part, and then like a series of tubes for fingers, and then there's like another one for a leg, and almost like something that looks like part of a head, like it almost looks like a person in some ways. And then we flash back to now as Lullaby holds up the knife that was clearly made by the metalworker, and we're back in this scene now.
Oh, Lullaby, I definitely recognize that mark as being the metalworker from over yonder, and I have to say he's had some very peculiar jobs laid at his feet and she'll kind of tilt her head over in the direction of where kind of Dr. Swain had left with the other Delapaws. He was making out of copper something that looked very, if I dare say it, it had arms and legs and a face and a whole lot of inscriptions all over it that they kept making the poor man redo everything because he wasn't quite getting it right. So that's very suspicious that knife is there.
The doctor, have you met him when you arrived?
He's been around. He's definitely him and Phineas are thick as thieves, so he hasn't necessarily been much for socializing with those of us that came in with the Guthries.
We can look into him. You make him sound like a strange man.
They were just talking about the contraptions, like, and she's kind of pointing up at the lights. This seems to be his work somehow. I don't understand. He appears to know things in the way that you know some things about things that I don't know. He seems to know some things about other forces.
If his inventions have caused problems tonight, we should look into it. But there's another dead here. What is befalling them? And I'll turn to the other dead body and check out what happened to them.
Okay. So you go over to the other dead body, and it looks more like this one, something blunt hit them in their head. And they clearly have, like, their head has been kind of caved in on one side. You were trampled, and you took your own wound. So it could have been something as simple as they just got unlucky, but it also could be something more deliberate. It's hard to say. They also are on kind of cobblestone-like area, whereas you were like kind of down a muddy alley. So that could have also contributed to it. It's hard to say for sure. But this is this is one of the Delapois.
So Lullaby, that's one dead body for each family?
1 for 1, yes.
All right. Do we think we should go look at the metal worker? See if we can find what was being built over there?
And let's find Lena. We'll go together.
And Lena, at this point, will say this is like when you hear your name called, as maybe you're looking around at all the various catastrophe that has befallen, like glass on the ground from where the street globes exploded, a case here or there where there's blood on the ground. Give me, Lena, like maybe a bushcraft test, maybe. Yeah, give me a bushcraft and reckon, maybe.
Joke. My bushcraft is D6 and my reckon's a D8. Which is a 10. 7 and 3.
Okay.
Nice.
You see Lullaby and Petra are like looking at this body, and you realize that there's a lot of disarray. Some of the roof tiles and such have fallen and clattered on the ground too. But you also like hear a sound that like kind of, it's because it's very quiet at this point. The music has stopped, the drumming has stopped. There's maybe a gust of wind here or there, but you just hear a drip, 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 like as if something is dripping and there's like a puddle. And you look behind you and you see hanging from the side of one of these storefronts that is on the inner circle of the square. You can see like this mountain flora that has kind of gotten tussled a bit in the process. And you can see that whatever like series of like berries or cherries that were hanging from it kind of got mashed a bit, and you just see like it's like dripping to the ground. And we flashback, and we see Lena maybe the day before And we see, Lena, your patrol throughout the day, as you were tasked with doing, took you to the cherry orchard, where maybe Phineas specifically said this during your meeting, where he said there was no one's seen the cherry orchard master in a while, and like they were supposed to deliver some things in preparation for the festivities. And we see you kind of wandering over. Maybe you heard you heard various tales from like children and such about some kind of strange sightings in the orchard. And the orchard is just outside of town, up the ridge. It's kind of on the same route up towards where the manor is. And when you get here and like you're looking around, and we see like all of these mashed and ruptured cherries from the various trees, like on the ground. Some of them are hanging from their branches, not unlike what you just saw inside of the square itself. And you hear the sounds of this like dripping. What do you do, Lena? What do you think you did when this happened?
I definitely went towards the dripping to investigate it.
Okay. You look around a bit, and then you see the tallest tree in the entire orchard. It's probably 30 feet high. And you walk over towards it, and you can see that there's a pool right in the center of the ground. And it has kind of grown quite large, like a puddle almost. And you realize something is falling and dripping into it. And when you look up to where the dripping is coming from, you don't see cherries. You don't see mashed cherries. But instead you see a body high up in the tree, about as high as you can possibly go. And you can see like it's dangling and hanging in like this kind of way that it's all red and kind of mashed up, and it's just dripping and falling, and the blood is coming down. What do you think Lena would have done in this moment?
I'm gonna try to like get as close to the body as I can, still on the ground, and see if I can recognize it at all.
All right, I'll tell you this. You already passed the bushcraft test. We can do like a delayed sweeten the pot. Do you have an ace that you want to spend?
Yes. If
okay.
I can.
Absolutely. You look up, and you can see right as you're looking up, this little gust of wind happens, and you watch as the body suddenly unfurls and kind of moves about like it's a soggy, like mop head. And it reminds you very much of the body of John back during your travels to the swamp that your friend Dora Vix had found, and that you all hid and didn't really tell anybody about. But it's the same effect, this sort of shredded thing. All the tissue, the arms, the bodies, it's shredded. And like you can see it was wound tight, but then the wind comes through it and it all kind of shifts and moves and then comes to a rest again.
Is there anyone else that I passed in the orchard who looked like they would have been working or anything?
No, but you did hear that the orchard master hadn't been seen.
Exactly. So I am trying to figure out if there's someone here who would recognize his face as being that missing orchard master, or if he's just some guy. And that's what's going through her head right now. So she is kind of thinking about like, okay, who would know that? And I think she moves into town to try and find someone to help with the identification.
And we flash back to the moment now at night, again, after the catastrophe of a rehearsal dinner. We see the dripping, and you would have maybe gone and gotten another one of the guards at that little gate that leads up to the Delapois Manor, who comes down, helps you get the body down, and recognizes the orchard master, Peyton of Whiteacre. And that they have been the orchard master for quite some time, seem to be well liked, very good at their job, no enemies to speak of, no clear motive whatsoever, and especially for such a horrific horrifically brutal and violent death.
Is it fair to
And
say
now
I
we're
would
back.
have shared that with these guys prior to today?
I'm sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure you would.
Okay.
Definitely Petra. Lullaby just woke up.
Sure.
But Petra would have known, and Dora Vix would have known,
Cool.
and whether or not you
Cool.
wanted to share with Avery is up to you. So, resetting then, Lena kind of fixated on the dripping of those mashed cherries. Petra, Lullaby looking at the caved-in head of the body, and Avery kind of lingering here and there, and maybe he like leans and he over top of the body of Leander and like closes the eyes and sort of says something kind. And it's just the four of you. It's now at this point it's quiet and empty in the midst of this large now very empty town square. What are you all saying or doing at this point?
Lena, we are to find the mental man and see who ordered this knife.
I'm glad to see you're awake. First of all, yes, that's it's probably this place doesn't look very big. It might be, before I saw Dr. Swain talking about one of his being chastised by Mr. Lebois about one of his contraptions that may have gone wrong. So, and that caused all this commotion. So maybe I don't think it's a very big town. So I imagine whoever is involved in the knife might also be involved in this contraption.
Well, and he was
whatever
certainly,
that is.
He was certainly very grumpy about the copper worker making mistakes in what he was building. So I am still confused because the drumming and everything that we were beset upon on our way up here is similar to what's happening here. And that was not high-tech copper arms and tubes and whatnot. That was like poison needles and the naturalistic lack. So I'm not sure if this is two different things that are heading after us all at the same time, but let's go see about that copper man. Gavin, I believe his name was.
It's a good idea.
So we smash cut to you knocking on a door to the metal workers building, and the door opening, and we see the younger but like definitely weighed down by a hard, laborious job. Like he doesn't look like old, but he certainly seems as though he's been he has lived a tough life. But you also seem to have woken him up. Doesn't look like he was invited to or had attended the rehearsal dinner, and he recognizes you, Petra.
What's the problem here?
Well, actually, there's some death and calamity that was happening at the rehearsal dinner. Wanted to inquire, and she'll kind of gesture to, because I think Lullaby or Lena, one of the two, had like the knife with his mark on it.
Lullaby.
Yes, do you recognize this?
Yeah, it's one of mine. What of it?
Do you know who requested that of you?
Mr. Delapois wanted new flatware for the festivities. Made dozens of these.
Unfortunately, this one found its way inside a man's head.
Did it now? I'm sorry to hear that, but I don't know nothing about that.
Might you be
What
able
about
to
the
share?
lights?
Sorry, go on.
Okay, not everybody at once. I can't. One at a time.
The lights this night. I think they're designed by you as well. Do you know anything about those?
No, those aren't mine. I made the poles. Yeah, and some of the fixtures. But that's Dr. Swain's work. He's an inventor of some kind. Something like that. I work with him. You saw him here yesterday.
Points to Petra.
Well,
He's,
speaking of that, how's your progress been on that larger piece that you were in the middle of?
I don't have a large piece. I just little pieces.
Where did you
Pieces.
deliver the little pieces to?
Yes. Of course I did. I'm a professional. They were just extras. This isn't the first time Dr. Swain has requested those parts I showed you. It's one of the frustrations of it all. I've done the work before, and then I told them how long it takes, and then they say it takes even... I need more and more, and I said, that is not how long it takes.
What is he putting together with all the... Have you seen the finished work of all of your bits put together?
They don't tell me anything. They just come here and ask for me to do various things with whatever copper or mostly copper, sometimes iron, but I do what I'm supposed to do. What else is there?
Do you have any plans or schematics or anything he's asked you to follow that you might have for us to look at?
And I kind of gets all in a huff.
Fine. She looked at them yesterday.
Kind of like goes towards Petra, and yeah, and so he lets you in. Kind of flips a little lantern on. Light fills the room, and again you see the sprawled out series of schematics. Each of them is for a separate component. But as Petra, you were studying it yesterday, you saw like literally what looked like parts that could interconnect, and in your head, you were able to piece together like this looks like a puzzle piece. It almost looks like it's recreating the shape of a human being in some ways, but you're not sure if the metalworker has pieced that together. Because each schematic again is just for a small part.
For each piece. Do you see, Lena, how that's like an arm over there, and then that's like a leg, and then that looks a bit like a face, right?
Does. She's gonna ask him, so you gave all the parts to the doctor directly, or did you have to leave them in the wild somewhere?
In the wild? Why would I leave them in the wild? It works up in the manor. Somewhere up there. I deliver them to the manor.
Okay. And when was the last delivery you made?
I brought some of my work over today.
Hmm.
Some of the pieces this one saw yesterday.
And the due date
It's
on them.
mostly these.
Hmm.
And he points to not the schematics that have like the arms and the fingers that you think you see, but rather what looks like a chain link. And like literally just looks like a link, like Link's chains. And it has like these little etchings in them. Yet he was complaining about not being a jewel crafter or an engraver. And they gave him a batch of these earlier today.
Maybe between us, Lena, we can figure out what the writing on that means.
Hmm. Can I?
I don't think the two of you would. However, Lullaby might. Lullaby, give me a spirit test.
Hell yes.
I couldn't make heads or tail of this, but Lullaby, get your ass in here.
Education?
Maybe education?
I can do
Not
that.
sure. Yeah, let's do education spirit. Because spirit's like your magical stuff that you do. So give that a go. Yeah. Because Lena's like a... Forgive me if I'm wrong on this, by the way, but I always struck Lena as like a more of a like a thief. Kind of
Oh,
warrior type.
absolutely. She
fair?
is damned though. So she does. She is damned. So I was actually gonna ask if this was a holy relic of any kind that I might have an aversion to.
I'll tell you what. If you you don't have an aversion to it, but there is something perhaps about the glyphs. They don't look like etchings. They look like glyphs of some kind. They almost look like they're not just some random design. You think there's something more to what you're seeing. And as you say that out loud, like Lullaby, maybe you take a closer look as well. So Lullaby, how'd you do?
I smack the chains out of her hand. I rolled.
There's no chains. It's just the schematic. Really,
whatever she's holding. I smack it out of her hands. I rolled snake eyes.
Besties don't let besties be your friends.
Rolled snake eyes. Rolled
snake eyes. I can't believe you're showing me this. Get it out of here.
You could. I think you can do this. Can you do this with snake eyes? Can you lower your weird die to re-roll even with snake eyes? I'm not sure.
I don't think we can.
So Snake Eyes is an auto failure, and everyone must lower their weird die by 1 step. So thanks, Long. Thanks for that.
Oh, okay. That's fucking brutal.
And it's an auto failure, so I assume auto failure means that that's a no on any spending stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Stephen
we'll
just confirmed no rules on Snake Eyes.
Okay. Yeah, and you can't discard aces to boost either. Okay, so all of you decrease your weird die as you go to pull the schematics out of Lena's hand, as Lena was just beginning to formulate a theory, and the schematics tear and just rip apart, and they're ruined now. And you can never quite get in. But I would say, Lena, you would get the vibe that there was like this, again, this wasn't just for design. You think that maybe there was like some like functional component to it. Lullaby, the spirits didn't want you to look at this more closely, I guess.
What the hell, Lullaby?
The paper, the energy of it does not mingle.
Lullaby, you go taking a nap for a day and a half while we're out doing the work, and now you wake up and you're just ripping shit.
No, I mean, he's not completely wrong. They're definitely trying to do something. Although I have no fucking idea of what.
Well, Mr. We're very sorry to have interrupted you. You had a hard day at work today, working for all the rich folks up the mountain.
Is there anything else? Can I go back to sleep?
No, you can go back to sleep. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
He leads you out close to the door.
Sir, we got to go back up and find out what the doctor's got going on in his workshop or whatever up there, right?
Yes, let us meet Dr. Swain.
He was with Mr. Dubois, so might be just up the mansion.
All right, got a little bit of a hack ahead of us. She kind of looks up.
Okay. So we'll again do a little smash cut, and we find you through the gates, through the sort of the middling gate on the switchback, and then up to the main area of or the main public area of the Delapois Manor. And when you get there, you can see that last time you were here, there were portraits and landscape paintings of great beauty and age and statues. All of that seems to have been utterly ravaged. You can see stuff has been ripped apart. You can see statues have been pushed over and scattered about. You can hear down the hall the sounds of Phineas like cursing, but it looks as though someone has sabotaged this place. And you speak with Elsbeth, who kind of like explains this is what they saw when they got here. And then if you ask to speak with Dr. Merritt Swain, she'll lead you down a different hall to a kind of like an office of some kind with a couple books and designs in there. You can see the good doctor there sitting in a chair, kind of reading through like a book of some kind. And you're not sure if it's a journal or if it's something properly published. But again, very wiry, thin, ill-proportioned facial features. Like you can definitely see very large nose, very large ears. Looks at the two of you as Elsbeth is like, I'm going to calm down, Papa. And you can see she turns around and leaving you with Dr. Swain, who looks up at the three of you and says, can I help you? I'm afraid I have very little time.
What do you mean?
Hello,
very
doctor.
little time.
Well, tomorrow is going to be a very complicated day. The wedding and all, and there are many things to do. So, as you can see, Phineas, Mr. Delapoire, is in quite a state given the vandalism that has occurred here. So, if you could make this quick, I'll get this out of the way. Yes, my globes seems to have malfunctioned. I am going through, and he gestures to the book he's reading into the schematic on their desk. I'm going through my materials now to see where, in fact, the fault was. I hope to have some information by tomorrow if I can.
What was it supposed to, and what did it end up doing instead?
What it was supposed to do is what it has always done, which is illuminate the town. It seems some sort of something faulted. I don't expect you to understand the complexities of the science, but essentially it is a chain of a series of globes and lights that allow our town to be more than just some frontier shithole. Something with class and dignity, fitting the Delapoires.
And what I understand, you were trying to find out the cause of malfunction, but what was the malfunction?
I'm continuing to study, but it seems as though the charge that is supposed to channel through them was, rather than redirected to the next in the chain, instead was expelled outward. And that created a series of reactions, so that many of the globes themselves, as you saw, exploded. No one was harmed by the globes themselves. All the injuries were in the reaction of a frightened pocket.
And where does the charge come from?
As I said, the details, the science are somewhat complicated, but I can assure you it will not happen again.
That wasn't my question.
And I do not care. You stand here because I have allowed you into my offices, not because you hold some power over me. There is only one person to whom I answer, and his name is Phineas Delapoire. Unless he has changed his appearance and he has become one of you, I see no reason to continue this charade of questions.
But you see, he has hired us to keep him safe. And
I am well aware of your role in all of this.
So it makes it difficult if we don't have a solid idea of what the plan is, as it were. I must ask, too, sharing a bit of information, we are both seeing and hearing the same sounds and sights that we saw when we were beset upon by the Weeping Folk on our way up here. So,
Weeping Folk.
I can...
Superstition.
It is
drivel.
not superstition. We've saw an individual that was shredded on our way up, and Lena was telling us that she saw such a thing here in your cherry orchards. This is not coincidence. Second piece is tomorrow. What do you have planned with this copper being of some kind?
And he was kind of like, they were kind of like just sort of not really getting ready to dismiss you. You mentioned the copper being, well, I think that's all for tonight then. Everyone's very tired.
It's been a very difficult day. I have some work to do before I turn in for the evening. I suggest you go about your patrols. If you think there are weeping folk wandering about the town, perhaps you should go looking for them. Yes?
And Petra sort of wants to just take a look around the room and just see if there's anything in here that matches anything that we would have seen.
Yeah, give me a test.
So reckon, I assume?
Because you're doing this without their permission, so you're trying to do this like surreptitiously.
Yeah.
So reckon makes sense. Maybe education to see if there's something that you
Yeah, I like that.
notice. Of course you do. It's like the only thing you do.
I know. Booey. Okay, I am going to how do I want to do this? So I got a 6, so I'll drop my weird to a d6 for a reroll. Because a reroll is going to be better than spending, I think. Heck yeah, it is. That is a 15.
Hell yes.
Okay. So I'll say you notice a few things.
And I'll spend the aces towards this if it would be beneficial. So I've got 2 aces for that, and I'll spend both on this if it'll help.
You don't need to spend both. Maybe spend one.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'll give you an extra bit. Okay. So let's do that. Okay, so with that then, so I'll give you 2 things. First, you notice that there's sort of an odd contraption that you see kind of as this figure like leans back a bit. You can see tucked underneath their coat, and I have a little image of it. It's got like a handle and then some strange copper tube that you saw a schematic for, and then various wires and things. It's kind of hard to determine, but it's like the size of like a small gun, and rather than actually having a gun on their waist, this doctor has whatever this device is on their waist. The same way that you all have weapons.
Right. Yeah.
Seems to be something that they have. The second thing you notice is that there are like fairly hidden wires beneath some molding that you notice moving through the room itself behind where they sit, and seems to sort of disappear into the wall. Like there's some kind of little drilled hole in the wall, and like there's just kind of wires in the room that all seem to direct to that back wall.
So I would say that she would just with this having something else to go on, she'll just be like, you know what? You're right. You are an important doctor who's got important stuff that you need to do, and we are just going to leave you to it.
Thank you. I apologize for my rudeness, but it's been a very trying evening. Good luck in your search. If anything turns up that I think is important for you to be aware about, I will, of course, let you know. Good night.
Good night. And as soon as we kind of step outside the room, Petra will kind of turn to both of them. Did y'all see the wiring that was like running up by the ceiling and went through the back room? I think maybe we could follow that and see whatever it is he's working on that he was not willing to share with us.
You saw something. All I saw was moss.
He is surreptitious in kind of how he does this. He also, on his waist, has a weapon. Like, Lena, you've got your old heart there. He's got some copper, fancy looking thing.
Huh.
But let's see if we can follow that around.
Wanna try for me to grab it?
I mean, if it comes to that, I don't know. Right now, we need to do that, and you've got your fancy one, but I would like to see where these wires go.
Not to replace mine, but for us to look at a little more closer and to have.
I mean, did you have your eye on the raffle that was in the case back there? You've got your list of things.
Not for that. Just for us to have for later.
Just wanted you to know, in case you were needed to be shooting in his direction, that he's got something to fire back. I'm gonna follow these wires though, and she just kind of got her head up, looking.
It's inside their office. It was the wires you saw disappear into the back wall of their office.
So I was hoping that going out and
as you leave,
yeah.
No, as like you, there's nothing out here in the hall. As you step out into the hall, you close the door. Like there's nothing to follow outside. Whatever it was inside their office.
Okay. I was hoping there were like a room that like abuts the back of that. No,
it looked more like there was something hidden underneath the various molding that dipped into the back wall of their office.
So maybe we go outside the house and see if there's anything there.
So it's a castle. Just remember, it's not just like a singular house. And so there's no guarantee that this is an exterior wall.
Right.
Well, Lullaby, what do you think?
Like a castle, but it's like the closest thing to it.
Yeah, did his office look like a place he sleeps in? Or is it just something he spends his time in a bit?
You didn't see a bed in there, no.
Let's talk to Phineas while the doctor is busy. Once he leaves, we can return.
Like how you're thinking. So we're going to see if we can talk to Mr. Delapois, and then after the doctor retires for the night, we can go snooping around his workshop.
You move back into the main area where all the vandalism is. You see their servants now that are tending to it. But you also hear like the sounds of Phineas down the hall towards his office. More angry than you ever heard him, as he's been a fairly tempered individual since you've met him. But he is clearly he and Elsbeth are having a shouting match to some degree. Like she's trying to calm him down. You can see he is like constantly saying, he's like, you will not, like not to like marry the Guthries and stuff, it's like, I'm gonna get back to his voice, like, Phineas Delapois, you will not sully the name of the Delapois any longer. We have suffered this indignity too much. Now, Papa, now there's no guarantee that these are the folks that did it. No guarantee. Nothing of this sort has ever happened until we open the gates to these cretins. And you hear just like this horrific, argument between the two of them. Is that something you want to interrupt?
Hello.
Lena is right behind Lullaby, not really caring about the argument, but she does want to see if the gun is still here or if it was taken in the vandalism.
You push the door open into his office and you say hello, and he whirls around from behind. And you! And he points to like all of you as you come in. Where were you this evening? One of my own lies dead in the middle of that square, and what have you to show for it? I hope you are here to debrief me on which of the Guthries took out my dear cousin.
I was in bed. Where were you?
I don't care to talk to you. Get out. Take him out. He calls to like a guard.
But by way of an update, though, we were keeping an eye on what was going on outside, and I would inform you that there is, and I think she's kind of like walking around with this effigy. We did find on the...
Have you managed to
yeah.
around? It's like the size of a barrel.
Yep. Okay. Upon the rooftops of your town, the same effigies that we were finding outside of the Guthries and along our way. And I did, in fact, see some type of creature or something moving along out in the distance when the lights were out. And there was drumming.
That you are here to tell me that you have caught that creature and you have put it in the grave. Otherwise, I do not understand why you are here.
We are informing you as to what had occurred, that this is not just...
And I am informing you that we had an arrangement. You were supposed to protect my family. Now one of my family lies dead, and you are here not telling me that the culprit has been caught and taken care of, but that you have allowed that culprit to escape.
I do not believe it was the same thing. There is one Guthrie and one Delapois that were killed in the fracas that was going on.
Guthries. I care about the Delapois, and there was one lying dead in the streets. Now, what are you going to do about that?
We will see what we can do about whatever is coming around on the outside, but perhaps you should not shut your mind to the fact that the Weeping folks have decided to enter themselves into these affairs.
You will not tell me what I open and shut my mind toward. You will not tell me how to run my town or my family or my mind. Do you understand me?
Suit yourself. Petra will turn on a heel. And other people can stay if they want to, but Petra will walk out.
Is the mine where the wiring from Dr. Swain's office goes?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking Dilpa.
He looks at you. Is the Walt of the Walt? Is the Walt? My goodness, there is a dead Delapois here, and you are asking me about mines? You are asking me about wiring? I thought you all were competent folk, but it seems as though you are not. The time in which you have arrived here, people have died in my town, and now one of my own has died. You are asking me about wiring. Like, Elsbeth is, like, kind of off to the side, just like, kind of hands, you know.
I think Petra...
You're right. We'll take a look. And Lena's whole purpose for being in this room was to see if the gun was there. So
it's still there.
Okay.
It's still there. This way is.
Petra would...
Yes, you can count on us. Turns around.
Petra would look briefly to Elsbeth, just to try to catch her eye, and then to leave.
Yeah,
just
she gives you kind of like a severe look, and she just sort of shakes her head.
And she'll, kind of do the, kind of head tilt gesture, recognizing that Elsbeth may be a little more willing to share information than the senior Delapois, and Petra will leave.
Okay. Lullaby, did you leave, or did you want to linger and say something?
Oh, I thought the guard was escorting me out. So I know where the exit is.
There wasn't a guard nearby. He just, yeah.
He's just
because you didn't technically
blustery
meet him before, so. Yeah. Okay, so where do you guys go? What do you do?
As we leave, Lena's gonna say to the two of them, I think they've done something to piss off the Weeping folk. That's why I was asking about the wiring going to the mine. I know you
possible.
guys get it.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's perhaps both of them are right that we should be putting our eyes and ears and weapons, as it were, to be out on the perimeter, seeing what we can see. I did see.
We did hear
something.
the drums, just like right before the ambush on the road. So it's probably the same people.
This is what we are getting paid to do, so I assume that perhaps we should go out and see what we can rustle up.
I think we let's go out armed, but maybe we should have a reminder to try and talk to these people first. I don't want to. You shouldn't kill people if you don't really have to.
Lullaby, are you you gonna be alright to fight?
If there's something to fight, yes. But we should wait for the doctor to leave. That room you saw. There must be something there.
I don't want to just be sitting ducks, so I could just wait for another ambush. Especially with the wedding tomorrow. Everyone's gonna be corralled in one place.
Doctor's been doing what he's been doing for a long time now, and those creatures outside have not been here for a long time, so.
And that's why I think they've done something to piss off the weeping folk. I think Swain's done something to piss off the weeping folk.
Check that out after our
I think
patrol,
we should
Lullaby.
head out, honestly. I don't think there's anything. It'll be whatever we find in the office will be interesting, but I don't think it's gonna change any of our decisions, so we should just go.
Okay, so you guys leave?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Lullaby on board with that?
I will stay here.
You don't have to, Bob.
I will stay here. There's something.
You
Please
did
call
just
out.
wake up from being asleep for a day and a half, so
I
if
have
you
no
want
idea what's
to here,
happening.
Exactly.
Lena and I will head out.
Okay. Lullaby, give me a skullduggery test to linger in a manner in which no one notices you. And you kind of like linger around to wait to see when Swain leaves. All that.
It is castle size, so that may help you a bit.
We'll do quick skullduggery. That sounds alright.
Yeah, sounds good. You're just kind of lingering in the shadows, finding like a little nook or cranny to hide in, that kind of thing.
Give me that gun while you're in there.
Barely got a 10.
Okay. 10 is still a success. So you linger around, and it's a while. So it's maybe like 2 hours before Dr. Swain leaves their office. And you're lingering in the shadows. And you wait a few beats. You've since heard the sounds of the argument between father and daughter died down. You still hear the sounds of kind of people cleaning up from the various broken statues and paintings out in the public area. And you slip inside. And it's dark. It looks like there's no light in here, but I'll assume that maybe you have a lantern on or you find one with just a little bit of flame. And you can see it's his office once more. There's a desk, their shelves are filled with various parts and contraptions and books. What do you do, Lullaby?
Go up to the wall that Petra noticed, knock on it, examine it a bit, see if it opens up somehow.
Knock on it. And I'll say one of the things you notice that when you knock on it, there's no like response sound. When you knock underneath where you see the wires disappear into the wall, and then you knock on a different part, this sounds hollow by comparison.
So I'll feel around, see if there's some sort of edge latch, anything that opens it.
And as you maybe get the thought to not just feel blindly around, but maybe track the wires back, you eventually find that the wires move across this crown molding and then dip behind one of the bookcases and connect to one of the devices that looks like it's almost on display. And then when you kind of move your hand across it, it shifts and suddenly you hear and the sounds of machinery, metal starts grinding and shifting, and you watch as this faux wall panel slides to the side, and you instead see, standing behind where that panel was, a door. We're cut from there. Petra and Lena, who you leave, move down a switchback, through the gates, say goodbye to the guards, go back down into the town, and you're just patrolling? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, trying to track, like I'd seen some shadows kind of heading up in this direction, and like we've had two different people that are like, well, if there's something out there, why don't you out there looking for it? So she's like, well, I guess we should be out there trying to see what it is.
Okay, so where are you looking?
Yeah, I mean around the edges of the castle property.
Oh, okay. So you don't necessarily leave the switchback area. Okay. So you're just looking around the castle property. Yeah. Give me like give me a bushcraft probably, with a reckon, and I'm gonna say take a raise on this.
Hell yes.
Your previous, when you were kind of gazing off in the distance.
All right, that is a 16.
Okay.
So I will spend.
Would you like to sweeten the pot?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay.
Because that's 3, so I'll spend either 1 or 2 to sweeten.
If you spend 2, I can give you something.
I will spend 2. Yeah.
Okay. So, as you look around, maybe like your initial thought was to find like you mentioned, maybe the back of the manor to see if that's where, and you realize after a while that it's unlikely based upon the layout that Dr. Swain's office connected to the visitor of this. But then it occurs to you maybe that you saw something moving along the ridge, like literally on the cliff face of it.
All right.
And when you look down the side of the cliff, which is a little dizzying because it's a big fall. If you were to fall over, it would hurt. You notice as you hold the light up that there are it's like a large like crevice in the side of the cliff face. So that's one of your sweetens pot. And you can see like you could potentially like shimmy through it. It's like a fairly large crevice in the side of it. And the second one is that you can almost kind of see some of these little precipices, like while there's not a clear handhold and full, it's not like there was designed to be a ladder going down. Just looking at it, you can see a way down to it. You know what I mean?
Lena, I may have found something. I think if we can crawl our way down there, there is in fact somewhere that we could crawl into and see what might be hiding in there. Are you ready to do a little bit of climbing down?
Yeah, absolutely. Wanna go down? I know you can jump pretty good. Or do you want me to go down first?
I can just go ahead and jump on down first, and then I can catch you if you happen to fall.
All right.
Okay. So this climb is going to take a little while.
Yeah.
But because you spent the extra ace, I'll say I'm not going to require a roll because you're using the clear path that you discovered. But it does take a little time. And eventually, you realize as you're coming down the cliff face, there is this the crevice is quite it's not like super wide, but it's quite narrow. But it also looks like it's relatively recent. Like if you have any skills in geology or anything like that, it doesn't look like this has been like, it looks like there's like a freshly hewn,
not like a weathered edge.
It looks like it was intentionally. Yeah. You also hear the sounds of like, and you look up, and for a moment, you just almost looks like there's like a little flock of birds just flying past in the sky behind you. You look over it, and then you hear, and you look down, and you see like something scurrying about at the base of the cliff. And we cut inside. Followed by you're standing at this door, and it's hidden. What do you want to do?
I'll reach for it, see if it opens.
You reach for it. Feel this little electrical surge rush through you. And give me a grit save.
Okay, weird dies at 6. My grit is 6. It'll be tough.
Okay, you got this, man.
A 7.
Oh.
7. All right. Do you have anything that you're going to spend to kind of get up there?
No, I don't have any aces or anything that'll help.
Okay. I'll say, let's just say you take a minor injury. We would know it as electrocution. Again, I don't know if that terminology is into the fifth world yet, but that's effectively what happens is you get this electrocuted shock to it as you reach out and grab it.
Okay.
Okay. And because you took the injury, you reach out, you get electrocuted, but you're able to open it up. And as the door swings open, you can see you're not looking at a hallway, but more like a sort of a nested room that takes a couple steps back, and you swear you see an elevator shaft, like a gate, like you're inside of a mine, and there is this like metal wire work, and like you see the carriage. There's a little lever, and it's like a mine shaft elevator, and it's the type of thing that people might ride down to the base of a mountain, or down to a mine below.
Let's see where this takes me. I'll pull the lever.
So you go in there, and you hear. We cut to Petra and Lena as Lullaby disappears into the darkness. Petra and Lena, you continue to hear though the sounds of like something in the darkness, but everything's dark. It's extremely dark out. It's like, consider it like 3 o'clock in the morning. What do the two of you do?
I think we should go inside and see what we can see, right?
Definitely.
So Petra will start shimmying inside this crevice.
And I will want an athletics test for the both of you to make it through here, as this one is more like you're in this like kind of tight, jagged sections of rock stick out. A few times you have to like literally suck your guts in just to be able to make it through. Other times like you feel yourself getting scraped, but you do definitely feel as though you're making progress inward.
All right, athletics
and
quick
what?
or grit?
I'll take either quick or grit. So
all right, I'll do grit.
either one of those is fine.
Yeah, I'll do grit as well. That is an 8, so I'll spend 1 ace to get it to 10.
Okay.
Yeah, ditto. I rolled a 9, so I will spend the only ace that I have to get that to 11.
Okay. So the two of you continue to push through this like little tiny crack in the side of this mountain, and like you feel these tiny little scrapes, but nothing really grinds down into you to the point where you would take an injury. And then eventually both of you kind of pop through, and you find yourselves in a very dark, dusty, rocky little pocket. But then as you look up, and in the distance, maybe 20 or 30 feet away, you see like something glowing. It's not like super bright. It's just like a slight illumination, and it's like around what looks like as if the crevice that you're in widened a bit and then tucked around like a cave tunnel. And it's like you're getting a little bit of that glow coming out, but you can't quite get a good vision on what it is.
Gotta see what that is, right?
What do you want to-
Read my mind?
Keep on going forward. And I would imagine that like it's so dark in here, that like Petra would probably like, because she always has like a long skirt that, you know, kind of covers her kind of frog's legs. And so she kind of hands a bit of like the pocket of the skirt to Lena so that we can like move along in the dark and like not lose each other.
Okay. So you move around. We cut. Lullaby, the lift stops. You're able to push the gate open. And you see you're in what looks like I'm going to say you have a lantern out. You can see, if that's okay. You're in a mine tunnel. You can see the wooden reinforcements. Okay. You can see that it has been intentionally hewn. Like this is not like a natural tunnel. This has been flattened and smooth to some degree, so for easy walking, and it looks like a well-trodden path.
Do I hear or smell anything?
You smell dust. You hear the sounds. Yeah, you hear like it's kind of muffled, but you hear like this, almost like this, almost like it sounds like some kind of muffled expression of pain, but it doesn't sound like language, like someone's saying anything.
I'll follow the path down, make sure I don't run into anyone.
You follow the path down, and you come to what looks like an opened archway, like a reinforced square entrance into some kind of laboratory. As you look around, there are large, small prototypes scattered all over the place, all these different machines and things. You see samples of ore piled up in various sacks here and there, herbs hanging down from different rafters. You can see that there are a handful of tables scattered about that all have these large old tomes and scrolls sprawled out. You can see from the distance, like some of them, there's like these arcane or occult looking effigies, not like the ones that you saw en route, but instead like something carved out of or built out of something you might find in a more like academic kind of text. And you can feel, Lullaby, the pull of the weird. Like you can just feel its presence, like humidity almost, just kind of just saturating the air around you, and it weighs on you. And when you kind of look out, you see that your light is not the only light, but rather there is this dull kind of blue glow in the distance. Cut to Petra, Lena coming around, and you two see this blue glow, and you hear the and as you come around the corner, you startle for a second as you see this orange light to your left, but then you realize it's Lullaby. And you see this large laboratory has opened up. There's machinery everywhere, tables filled with books and tomes, raw materials here and there, some recognizable like tubes and things. And then you see two other things. And it's really hard to miss. All three of you at once, different sides of the room, notice on the far side, as you two, maybe one of you is coming in from like the southeast, one of you is coming in from the southwest, and as you look towards the northern side of the room, you see a massive creature that looks like the most ancient looking oak or weeping willow that you've ever seen, with these ashy, pale tendrils, arms, legs, branches, twigs. But it is like slowly moving, and you realize this is where the sound is coming from. As in the bark itself, you can see faces, and they're like shifting and moving, and it's from those that you hear the and then that face disappears back into the ashy bark, and then another one pops up. You also notice that this, again, massive looking, it's maybe 3 stories high, but like slumped over, and it fills up the entirety of this pocket in the mine, and this clearly was once a mine. And you see these large copper chains have been wrapped around it, and then it's pinning it, it seems, to these plates on the ground. And that's where the glow is, as you see these runes engraved in these large plates in the ground, and there's like this glow coming up from it. How are you three immediately responding to this?
Lullaby, you were right.
Petralina, the doctor's office leads down a mine shaft. If you go there, I can show you.
We gotta
Stop.
we gotta let that thing go. That explains why they're trying to do them harm, is because that doctor's got one of their kin chained up in here.
The pull of the weird is strong here.
This is not right. And Petra is looking for like where we're gonna need to, like, where she might need to climb to try to like cut through or kind of disassemble some of these chains and whatnot.
Lena is at the same time going to the table and looking for like keys or something. If
Sure.
there's like manacles, if on the off chance there are keys here.
You rush over and you start going through some of the tables. Petra, you move over towards the creature itself, and you're looking for some way to like disconnect these large copper chains that have been wrapped around it and attached. And you also notice as you get close to those plates in the ground that you see familiar etchings from some of the schematics and some of the engravings when you spoke to Gavin, the metalworker. What is Lullaby doing immediately upon seeing all of this, much like Lena and Petra, like they took an action? What is it you're doing, Lullaby?
I'll see the runes on the ground, the glowing ones. If I can make sense of those.
Yeah, you move over to the runes. So you and Petra are in close proximity to each other. Then Lena, you're a little further off to the outer outskirts of the room where all the tables are. As Petra and Lullaby move to the northern side, you can see carved into some of these copper plates in the ground, there are all sorts of like these weird glyphs that you realize now there's like these little copper channels of wire and piping that move out and away from these plates and connect on either side of the room to some kind of, I mean, they, like, you all would recognize them almost like Tesla coils, right? Like these sort of swirling, strange contraptions that I don't think the three of you would know how to quantify what you're seeing. But what you would be able to conclude is that somehow, like, this is like funneling the weird. You realize that the closer you get to these little patches in the ground, that you can just feel the weight get thicker and thicker, and like you start to feel this strange kind of tingling in your minds and in down the back of your neck as you feel something crawling over your skin. But before you can really get too close a look at it, and before Lena is able to really sift through the table, you are interrupted by a and then coming from the darkness on one side of the room, you see a large golem-like creature made of copper with one arm apparently like it effectively looks in some ways like a Gatling gun, and you see it spinning and spinning, and then and it's firing this heated shrapnel in your direction. Lullaby and Petra, you immediately obviously kind of dodge out of the way, and we are going into initiative.
Oh my gosh!
As this large copper golem is coming at you.
Oh
right.
My
God,
word!
God.
So cool.
Okay.
So very
It's pretty
cool.
fun. You guys have come at this definitely outside of the. It's pretty cool. Like how you guys arrived here, I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get a little.
We were talking in chat about the splitting the party like mini Cliffies, and we had a Cliffy on a Cliffy.
On a Cliffy!
Okay, Unfortunately, we are finishing this session tonight, so there ain't going to be a Griffey tonight. Okay, so Petra, Lullaby, Lena, which one of you wants to go first? As this creature has come out from the darkness and then started firing heated shrapnel at Petra and Lullaby. The two of you are able to dodge out of the way first, but you're able to. So what do you want to do? Let's put it that way.
I mean, Petra feels a bit inadequate, but she's got a bow. That's what she's got to work with. So she's trying to see if she can get bows to do something with this big metal thing coming their way.
Absolutely. Go for it.
All right. So long guns is a D6 and grit is a D8. All right. Lullaby, I'm hoping you can read some stuff and do some stuff and figure something out. Oh, my word.
I'll consider them at short range from you, so if that matters to anybody.
No, I do have a quick question. Thank you. We just got some more stuff in chat for some bits. Is there something that we can cash audience bits out for like aces or something if we happen to be, let's say, sitting on 0 aces and had a real bad roll?
If you're sitting at 0 aces, yes, but you have to spend your own aces first. I'm going to make that the caveat.
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
my aces are all gone.
Yeah, go ahead. Why not?
Okay.
Go for it.
Are we doing like a 3-for-1 kind of
Cheapen our experience. That's fine. Let's see. Let's make it. We usually do what, like 3?
That's what I was. Yeah, like a 3-for-1 cash out.
Yeah, we'll say 3.
Okay.
A three for an ace.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody knows we are sitting at 14, and I'm going to take 3 of them. So now we're going to be sitting at 11.
Okay, so that makes it a success.
Actually,
correct?
no. Sorry, I have to spend 2. So that's going to bring it down to.
Spend 6.
Yeah, I have because I
can
rolled,
also lower your weird die and re-roll. It's another thing you could do.
I'm gonna. I would like to keep my weird die at a D8. Thank you very much. So I spend 2 aces to get plus 4 to get 10.
Okay. So you turn around. You kind of dodge out of the way of the shrapnel. You shoot. You fire, and and you see your arrow fly through the air, and that copper is like relatively soft metal, so you can potentially find some places to hit. What's your damage?
Base damage is 3.
Okay.
And if it matters, these arrows are poisoned. I'm a guess no.
Sure.
But just for the experience. As I'm being accused
what kind of damage
of.
do you do? You're doing slicing, I'm assuming?
Yes, it is slicing damage. Yes. I'm being accused of not giving the Huckleberry experience. So Huckleberry experience, these are poisoned arrows.
Yeah. I feel really bad for you. Steven knows why. Okay. Okay. All right. So you shoot, you fire, and you hear the clink as the arrowhead slices across. Like you leave a little mark, but it doesn't seem to largely injure it much. And then it will obviously go again. It'll go then. Return.
Yep.
Okay. So I got some good news for you guys as I just drew a joker.
Hey, we all got an ace, right?
There we go. So everyone gets, hang on, let's do this right. This is the first ace I've drawn. So I'm gonna go. All right, so we draw an ace or joker, you set it aside, then you ante up again. And if it's an ace or joker again, it is not. It is a king of hearts this time. So you continue this process until the effect or attack is drawn. The targeted Mav gets a number of sleeve aces for each ace or joker that was set aside and increases their The targeted Mav gets a number of sleeved aces for each ace that was set aside and increases their weird die for each joker set aside. They get these benefits before rolling your save. So you're going to be rolling a spirit save as you notice, not the shrapnel hand, but instead you can see its other arm reaches down to the ground where you can see all these little copper rivulets and pipes and things, and you see this bluish electrical current begins to come up from the floor, and then it wraps around that other arm and it fires it out. And this is going to attack all Mavericks within short range. I'm going to say Petra and Lullaby, because we established you two are next to each other. This is going to target both of you Lena, I'm going to say because you were across the room, so you're more medium range. So we'll say you are not affected by this. So first, Lullaby, Petra, increase your weird die by a step.
Back up to a D10.
Nice.
And then go ahead and roll that spirit save as electrical currents are being redirected in your direction. And again, King. So this is extra threat.
Oh my gosh. All right.
12.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and decrease the weird die for reroll because I rolled a total of a 5 on 2d10s.
Okay.
Son of a bitch. Rolled a total of a 6.
Okay. Lullaby, you manage to kind of duck down and you see the current kind of get caught by maybe one of those copper chains coming down from that large tree, weeping tree. And that manages to kind of absorb that electrical current. However, Petra, it blasts right into you. You are going to take first a minor injury because that's what the normal thing is.
Well,
and then
and
because it is a
I'm already filled up on minors, so it's a moderate. Sorry.
Okay, so you take a moderate, and because it's a face card, it actually goes up. You get branded D10 as well. Branded means you take another minor injury, but not right this second. But you take, this is like when it comes around to your turn, you do your so branded D10. So give that a roll. Excuse me, branded D10. Keep track of that. And so when your turn comes around and you do your D10 roll, we see whether or not you take another injury. Oh man, I'm gonna kill Melissa.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. You all hear the sounds of, like, as this happens, as it kind of fires out this like electrical current, you notice, I'll say Lullaby, you see this because you didn't actually get hit. You duck down and you look up. You can see not only does like the copper hand, this copper creature, I call it a copper hand, just so everyone knows, this copper hand moves about. You can see it's got these like runes that have kind of speckled it all over the place. And you kind of hear a voice call out to you. And it almost sounds like a voice. You're not sure if you recognize them. You just hear, help. And then a second voice. Help us. Help us. And each of them are coming from like these different runes and such that have been emblazoned on this creature. So Lullaby, you caught that. All right. Lullaby, Lena, what do you want to do?
I can go next. I will first, fast reflexes, additional simple actions cost 1 less ace during your first turn. So the two simple actions that I would like to do, one is interact with the environment, which is flip the table I'm at to provide me cover. Second simple action is I had my Lionheart out, so I'm going to swap to my repeater, which is a medium range gun.
Got it.
My disposition is justified. If you attack on the same turn you draw, you are dealt an additional ace. So I'm gonna use my complex action to attack with my repeater, and if I succeed, I get 1 more ace.
Okay. You dealt an additional ace. Does that mean you would have to get an ace?
That's how I understand it. Like, if I succeed, I get an additional.
Well, if you succeed, you're not dealt an ace. You have to get a raise. You have to succeed at a 12 or higher to get an ace, and that's when you would get an additional.
If you attack on the same turn that you draw a big iron, you are dealt an additional ace on a success.
On a success. Okay, so it does clarify. All right, go ahead and give us the attack. You pull out the repeater. You knock this thing over. You see stuff scattering all over the place. You pull the repeater out and you start firing.
Yeah.
Give us that roll.
Is it long guns or handguns?
For your repeater, I'm guessing long guns. For your repeater, I don't know. I don't have your character sheet up. I'm sorry.
I don't know guns. Sorry. That's long guns and quick or quick?
I think it's grit for long. Double check. Yeah, I mean, it's grit for long, that I remember. I'm just trying to remember if the repeater...
Steven says grit.
Yeah,
in
it's
chat.
it's a long gun. It's grit. It's a long gun. Yeah.
Okay. So that's an 11 for me.
Okay, so 11 will hit. What is your damage?
Damage is 6.
Okay. Excellent. Is there...
Can I
Did you have
throw
any
an
aces
ace?
or anything you wanted to spend?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
hoping I could throw an ace at increasing my damage.
Okay, so what's the total then between your base and your crit
9.
damage?
So 6
Okay,
plus
so you do
3, 9.
points of damage. Lead poisoning.
Yeah.
So you start... We just hear the repeating, and you just hear ting, 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 ting. And like a few of the bullets definitely pierce through some of the metal copper, but clearly you're firing into metal, so you would probably guess that it's having an effect, but perhaps a reduced effect. Okay. Total.
No, you know what? No, I'll wait till my turn.
Okay. It's going to then return. It's going to go itself. All right. I am going to... It's going to suddenly... It's sort of... Its hand that's got that... Almost like a Tommy gun kind of contraption starts to heat up again. And it's going to fire more shrapnel. At a Maverick within short range. So I have 2 within short range. I have Lullaby and Petra, who are wide open. Actually, no. I'm gonna say Lullaby. You dove off to the side. You're still in short range. I'm gonna go 50-50. See who I attack. I'm gonna do what Steven does, and I'm just gonna attack Melissa. So Melissa,
that is the way.
you need to make a quick save as you're getting shot at, and you are kind of out in the open still.
Okay. Quick and weird. Man, what happened to my dice? The 7.
Ooh.
Oh my god! So you failed. Okay. Did you want to spend 6 more audience bits to
Take
get
it,
that to a
take
success?
it, dude. We're almost
You know what?
at the end.
We actually have gotten some additionals, so that take 6. That leaves us with 8. If anybody else needs them.
Okay. So if that's the case, you manage to quickly kind of scramble, and while you don't have cover or anything like that, you basically dance around a bit until that heated attack cools down. And then we come to Lullaby. Lullaby, this, whatever the hell this thing is, this metal golem is attacking you. It is not as large, obviously, as the massive weeping willow, this ashy weeping willow that seems conscious, all these different faces shifting through the bark. But it is a little bit bigger than a normal human being, not a whole lot bigger. Consider it like a 7-foot tall human, effectively, that kind of size. What do you want to do?
I hear your cries. I'll flourish my tomahawk from my waist and then swing it down into those rune tiles. See if those break at all.
You want to try to break through the chains? Okay.
Free that and have that fight the thing.
Okay. Give me a roll. Give me a normal brawl roll.
Increase the number of allies.
Brawl and grit, I think, would make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just double checking.
Nice. Got a 10.
A 10. Okay, so you hack down into it, and I'll say with just a regular 10, that's enough to get through one of the chains. There's multiple chains coming down and tethering it to the ground. You hack through one, and it goes free. And you see like the whatever section of like the creature that has been chained up here, that is tethered by that particular chain, suddenly starts to move. And you can see like little bits of ash kind of flake away from it. This looks like an extraordinarily sickly, dying tree. This doesn't have the kind of the vibrant greens that you've seen elsewhere in the swamp. It looks like this thing has been drained and sickened in some fashion. Okay, so that'll go free, and you can see its arm kind of stretches out. Is that your turn?
That's my turn.
Okay. Next up, I'm gonna have since you just went, I'm gonna have it attack you this time. It's another spade. Seeing how you just tried to set free the very thing that you presume it is now guarding, this giant copper golem turns that heated, contaminated, like looking gun in your direction, like the part of its arm in your direction, starts firing at you. Give me a quick save, Lullaby.
Got a D10 on quick. Should be pretty decent. That's a 12, so I'll sleeve an ace.
Okay, you sleep. Actually, no, you don't sleeve aces on saves, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's right.
pretty sure.
Okay, but that's
you
my
can
bad.
spend them on saves, but you can't sleeve on saves. But that is a success. Okay. Okay, so you do dodge out of the way, and we come to the end of the round. I don't really have any. This is my only real hostile currently in the fight, so nothing for me to do. Come to a new round. Which one of you wants to go?
I got it. So
Okay, so you have branded.
I do.
Which means I think you have to roll your branded at the start of your turn.
I
correct?
do.
Yeah, beginning of the turn. On a 1 to 3, you ignore the effect. On a 4+, you suffer the effect of the ailment.
I suffer the effect of the ailment.
You take since it's branded, you take another minor injury.
So I'm now, so everyone knows, 3 minor injuries, 2 moderate injuries.
Electricity still in you, just cascading. This sort of electrocution effect just won't leave you. You can just feel it kind of coursing through you.
So
What would you like to do?
So I've got frog's legs, which gives me the ability to like jump and do cool stuff with that. I also have a brave disposition. So whenever I confront danger head on, I sleeve an ace. And I've been sitting at 0 aces. So I am going to use my legs and jump on this thing and just try to stab at it with my knife. Like I want to see if I can just like stab into its neck and like pull its head off, kind of a thing.
That is awesome, and I'm not going to say you shouldn't do that. I do want to draw everyone's attention back to the complex action of Patch Up, which has the ability to remove ailments. So I just want to throw it out there as a thing. So you are still branded, and so if you ever wanted to potentially get rid of that, that's the fact. That's how you do it.
Oh, yeah. And,
Okay.
and I am a sawbone, so I can actually drop it 2 steps. Which,
It's a complex action, though, so it would mean you wouldn't be able to charge at this thing.
yeah,
Attack it.
and I'm going to do the cool thing that's going to kill me.
Okay, I love it. So you charge in at this thing. You do your simple action to close the distance from short to at hand, and you leap up and you try to bury the knife. And as you get closer, you can hear the voices that Lullaby was hearing calling out to you. Like, help us. So tired. As if whatever these different glowing runes in it are, as if there's something, like it's like whatever's inside of it, you know. Okay, go for it. Roll your attack.
All right. And Steven is saying I get a free movement from frog legs. So if I want to jump off afterward, I could do that too.
There you go. Okay.
Oh,
Fantastic.
yes.
My gosh. Okay. So I just sleeved an ace because I was doing the brave thing and I need it because I rolled an 8. So I'm going to spend the ace that I just got to pass with a 10.
Okay, that's a success.
Nice.
What is your damage?
2.
Okay, and you're doing slicing, correct?
I am doing slicing, yeah. Can I spend some of the audience? We've got 8 left. Can I spend
3 to crit? 3 to get crit damage?
Yes.
What you want to do?
That's
Okay, so the other thing I would say, I want to tell you, I'm going to, now that you're here and you're close up and you're hearing these voices, one of the other things you realize that you might be able to do is like you realize there's like these runes seem to be kind of connected to how this thing ambulates and functions, and it's almost as if there are souls trapped within this creature in some ways. So so instead of attacking, like you could crit damage if that's what you want to do, but you could also sweeten the pot to potentially like communicate with one of those voices that are calling out from it. It's another option. It has a trait called Spectre in the contraption.
Ooh.
Oh goodness.
Because I think I'm clever and made a Ghost in the Shell.
I was
but
just thinking Ghost in the Shell.
Westerny.
Oh.
So I would. What would I have to spend? So I'd have to sweeten the pot. So I'd have to get.
You would have to sweeten the pot. So
that.
you would have to instead of spending the 3 to get your crit damage, the 3 audience bits to help here, you can spend it instead to do this if you wanted.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, and so as you call out to it, you call out to a voice in there. What is it like you say to the voice to call out to it?
How can I help you? How can I get you out of there?
Okay. And you just hear it say, free us. And there's like this chorus of echoes that are reacting to you. And while they don't give you any more complex of an answer, the sheer fact that you communicated with them and animated them, suddenly you see the golem just kind of short circuit a little bit. And in game terms, it now has rattled, which means all saves against the hostile are raised as it's kind of glitching, as whatever kind of souls that seem to be powering this thing are starting to rebel against it.
Talk to him.
Okay.
Talk to him. It weakens him.
All right. And it's going to go.
It's going to kill me now.
Okay. It's going to try to send this burst out in all directions, up to short range, as it tries to just redirect the electrical currents that seem to be coursing through it. Mavericks within short range. Again, Petra and Lullaby, this is the 2 of you. Lena, you stayed at medium range. So this is not affecting you. So this is a reckon test for Lullaby and Petra.
And this is raised from her action lesser?
This is raised, yes,
okay.
because it's rattled.
All right, D10, D12.
Yeah.
You're gonna like this one. Snake eyes.
Snake eyes.
Oh,
I got a 10.
Oh, baby. Okay. All right. So Petra, maybe because you're so close, or maybe the souls themselves are helping you. Okay. With a snake eyes, I am going to treat your snake eyes as if I had drawn a face card, Lullaby, and you feel this surge of electricity course and cascade throughout the room and just pierces into you. Maybe that copper chain that you freed kind of flies around and kind of wraps around you for a second and enhances it. You're going to take a minor injury, and you have branded D10 as you have electrical energy that seems to be coursing through you from this thing. And that is its turn. So Lena or Lullaby?
I am gonna follow Petra's instruction and yell, we're here to help you, and just say that out loud, like yell that, and I am gonna complex action, take a shot, not at the golem, but at the copper thing with the runes. Like,
what do you mean the copper thing? That is the golem.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
runes,
misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yes, then I'll just shoot the golem.
Got it. Okay, go for it.
Again with my repeater.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
That is 14 this time.
Okay. 14. Well, that's got 2 aces you can mess around with if you like.
I'll add my crit.
Okay, what's the total?
9.
9. Okay. Yeah, again, it's hard to shoot something made out of metal and do a lot of damage. So you are weakening it, but you're seeing the copper plates that make up its body starting to get tarnished here and there, but you don't see any signs of it slowing necessarily. Right.
Did her talking to the voices do anything?
So talking like you don't see like mechanically speaking, I'll let you guys know that the Spectre and the Contraption trait, you have to sweeten the pot to give it rattled, and giving it rattled is, like Petra, that's really the mechanical result of it. But like you definitely hear them getting more animated and louder, and like whatever is coursing through it, whatever version of like this weird soul fuse electricity, not only is it powering it, but it's now kind of reacting against it. Like you can see it's having more trouble keeping itself functional. Okay, it's gonna draw. This is going to target a Maverick within short range. This is another shot of the shrapnel. So you see. So there are 2 targets within short range. I'm going to 50-50 it. Lullaby and nope. It's going to be Petra. Petra, give me a quick save as you are getting blasted effectively point blank with this contaminated shrapnel.
I think this is it, everybody. It's a D6 and a D8.
And if Lena did rattle it, then yeah, you can take your raise on this.
So is the rattled for me still in effect? Because I think Lena spent hers to crit.
Oh, I'm trying to remember when do these things go away? Is it during upkeep that I get rid of them? Double check. I'm trying to remember. Is it
rattled doesn't drop, says Steven.
Okay, yeah, then yeah, that's it. You only have to do it once. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah, you still get it.
Okay, unless it takes a simple action to get rid of it. So it has not spent an action to get rid of it. So
okay.
Nope.
Well, now that I know, you got you failed.
Yeah. Yep. I rolled a total of a 4.
Okay, you take point blank. This contaminated shrapnel just catches you point blank. You take a moderate injury for this.
I am completely filled up. That is a major injury. So I have filled all of my injury slots.
What do you think the injury is? What do you think? Describe what it is. What it looks like.
I mean, this is just a abdominal wound. I would imagine that she's just taken this shot straight to her.
Okay. So I think it's the next injury that you would take that is going to get you laid low. Is when you take an injury with no open slots, that means you're basically dying. So I think as long as this was your last injury slot, I think you're okay for now. But the next time you take one, like if your brand ticks off, then yeah, you're in trouble. Okay. Then I will say, because you told me I need to use a simple action, it'll use a simple action now to.
So it says, Steven says it gets rid of it instead of anteing up. So that's how that goes away.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then never mind.
I'm going to keep it.
I won't do it. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I don't care. I'm killing you guys. Okay. Who is next?
It's my turn.
Lena's gone. Petra's gone. So it's got to be Lullaby. Yeah.
Got to roll for my branded ailment. D10.
Go for it, man.
A 1. There we go.
Hey.
1 is good. You can ignore it. You're good.
And I'll continue hacking at these chains, trying to free this willowed creature.
Okay, so you move over to the other one and try to hack at that second one. Go for it. Roll your attack.
Let's see. Grit. Brawl. That's an 11. That's.
Okay, and you hack through the second of these two, these massive chains. And you're just—it's like more than one hit. Like you're like just viciously hacking away at it, and then finally snap. And now both of those chains comes flying up in these long branches that almost look like arms, but they're not. You realize animate, and the entire creature. You see this ash begin to fill the air as it starts to shift and move, almost like pollen, and it starts to ambulate and move away. You see its arms flailing this way and that, and it is now free and beginning to move. Okay.
Nice.
For better or worse. Okay. The Okay. I'm gonna say for the last, this is the last round of this, and then it's gonna get weird. I'm gonna have this thing fire one more time, and then we're gonna get weird. This is an ace, guys. I got an ace, so I'm gonna set that aside. So that's
Holy
good.
shit.
Okay, so I drew an ace. This is gonna. So then I drew a 10 of hearts. So it's gonna shoot. It's gonna shoot more of those electrical currents out to short range attacks or short range mavericks. So go ahead and take an ace, Lullaby, and Petra, because it's going to attack the two of you since you're at short range.
Okay.
And then both of you make another spirit save.
All right. It's 8d10.
You spelled weird wrong, Logan. It's with a W. It's like right there in the title of the game.
Actually,
Like,
Oh, that's a Gandy.
Actually, you spell weird with a W. It's right there. Oxford English Dictionary.
All right. Let's go around. Lullaby, how'd you do?
Roll a 20. So can I sweeten the pot
my
to raise
gosh.
my...
Holy shit.
wow.
Christ. How did you roll 20?
12 on the D12.
Oh my goodness.
So you guys are
Eight on the D8.
20s.
Max roll, baby.
Wow.
Okay. Petra,
No
how
aces
did you
on
do?
saves.
Remember,
That's right.
there's no aces on the saves.
you
so
don't get
Petra,
it?
how did you?
God
Don't
dang it.
forget, you're raised still because it's rattled.
Oh, I forgot about that. You know what? I almost don't want to re-roll it because I passed, so I'm just going to leave it
That's fine.
alone. I got a 13.
Okay. And then Lena, how about you?
12.
Okay, so the three of you managed to all like either duck underneath something or the electrical current shifts, but then this creature changes everything. As it's these long branches, like they haven't moved properly in years, begin to flail about, hitting the ceiling, hitting the walls. Everything rock begins to rain down. You can see one of these long branches sweeps like backwards through this copper golem and sends this metal creature flying across the room right over top of you, Lena. And you see it smash against the wall on the other side, and it begins to ambulate and move and shift as if it's trying to find a way out. We are still antied, but at this point now I'm turning this into a hazard, as it looks like the laboratory itself, with now this creature free, knocking the walls down, bringing the ceiling down. The laboratory is beginning to collapse.
Oh my gosh.
You can see behind you, Lena, the golem's on the ground, and it's like huge dent right there in its torso as it's trying to get up. And you can see the large weeping willow tree is moving out, and it's knocking this thing and that thing. And you realize, Lena and Petra, it's like almost instinctively moving the path that you took towards where the crevice was. All right. Each of you is going to get an ante here as the whole laboratory is coming down. Lullaby, you're just getting lucky. That's an
Hey.
ace
Yeah.
for you.
Hell yes.
So go ahead and take another ace. And then it's a club. I need you to roll a grit save as one of the, like overhead, remember there are those reinforcement beams. One of them goes wrenching free and sweeps down like a pendulum, coming right for you, Lullaby. Grit save.
Roll an 8. I'll spend the ace for 10.
Absolutely. And so right as you catch it at the last second and hit the ground and it sweeps over top of your head. Okay. This one's for Petra. Petra, this is a diamond. So what the hell's a diamond? Reckon save. So Petra, you're like looking around, everything's raining down on you. This creature is pushing through, and you're having to like dodge out of the way of its various branches, these slithering tendrils and reeds and moss, the ash beginning to get into your eyes and covering your skin. Everything around you is writhing as if those plates in the ground have been wrenched free, and it's like a cork has been popped, and the weird is just rushing free as if maybe Dr. Swain somehow was just draining this creature, and now that is being unleashed everywhere now. So the veil of the weird begins to writhe. Give me a reckon test,
Okay.
or a save, excuse me.
Oh, man. sure we can't get aces on saves there, Steven? I just rolled another 20, like Long did.
Holy crap!
Amazing.
Okay.
10 on a D12.
Your brain
10 on
begins-
a D10.
Your brain's like on
yes.
fire for a moment as the ash kind of gets in your eyes and your ears, but you're able to wipe it free and keep your focus. And you see this thing pushing its way, like knocking a wall clean down and scraping the rock that the bend that you and Lena had moved around, like it doesn't care about it. It's just wrenching the rock free. And then we come to Lena. Lena, I need you to also do a reckon. As you two are feeling the pull of this uncorked weird beginning to cascade around the room.
Okie doke. That is an 11.
Okay, that is a success. You all, as the room is clearly collapsing, you see this creature push out in the direction that Lena and Petra went. And as you maybe are stumbling and looking and watch, and you see that half wall that Petra and Lena had moved around is wrenched free to make room for it. It steps up to where the crevice is, and you see like 4 of these long ashy arms almost reach out. The face is shifting and moving like in the bark, and they just pulls it apart like it's a double set of doors, and the rock just tumbles down even further, and it starts to push its way out into the night sky. What are you all doing? And that will determine what I ask of you after this. So what are you doing?
This way, there's an elevator.
This falling down around us. I don't even think that's safe to go up the elevator. I think I'd just rather run out that way. So Petra's trying to run, sort of like this thing is making an opening, and then she's going to follow it out. Yeah.
Okay. So you're following it. Lullaby, are you going for the elevator?
Yeah, I'll run back.
Okay, you go for the elevator. Lena, which one are you doing?
Petra.
Okay, so the two of you go back the way everyone goes back the way they came. Lullaby, you start going back up, but as the entire mine is coming down, you feel the elevator shifting and moving. Go ahead and give me a spirit save, but I'm gonna bust it actually because the laboratory is falling. This is the equivalent of like a is the weird on your side right now, or is it gonna have you fall down?
Yeah, I tried to warn him.
You
got a 12.
Okay. It's shifting and moving, but the door opens at the very top, and you scramble out just in time before the whole carriage collapses and falls. And then when you look over your shoulder, not only does it disappear, but the wall that it had been pocketed in begins to collapse inward. You kind of shift into the office itself, and you realize it's not just the elevator shaft, but the floor itself is beginning to collapse inward into the mountain. The very floor on which this entire manor house is built. Petra, Lena, the two of you are racing after this. I'm gonna do, because you are racing after this thing, I'm gonna ante up for the two of you one more time for the collapsing laboratory, just to see how it goes. Petra, I'm gonna need you to make a grit test as you're kind of pushing through and trying to duck underneath these fallen beams, these flying metal plates, kind of ripping off, chains flying all this way and that, so much debris in the air. Give me one more. And
just to, like, my ailment hasn't come into effect because I haven't taken another turn yet, right? So like that would only come into effect like on my turn.
Yeah, because this is okay. I'm treating this like a hazard. I don't know if that's right, but that sounds right to me since we're not you're not taking actions.
16.
Okay. And so this, like, you just see like the rock kind of falling down, but you manage to duck under and like you take a few hits too, but you're just powering through as if this creature just makes this opening even wider. And so the two of you are moving far faster than you had when you first came in. Lena, what about you?
I'm
sorry. I got to draw. What am I talking about? Spade. This is a quick save, please. Okay. Yeah. Stuff is starting to fall and pile up, threatening to pin you now.
12.
If you're not careful. Okay. And you manage to dodge out of the way, and the two of you go tumbling to the side. Now, it is a cliff face, but it's a jagged cliff face. And you're able to find various perches here and there. Now it's easier for you to go down than it is to go up. And so I'm just going to turn this into montage mode, and we see Lena and Petra scrambling down. Like it's not just this this laboratory, but the whole cliff face is threatening to collapse. When you look up at one point, you see one of the the stone blocks from above falls and thumps down onto the ground as if the manor is falling. You watch this creature launch itself off the side of the cliff face, and it's like hurtling through the air, and you think for a second maybe it's going to fall, but as it starts to tumble down, almost like a jellyfish, it just undulates once more, and you see it fly upwards. Its long tendrils and branches, almost malleable, kind of fly behind it. And then you hear the sounds of those, and you see launching up from below, places hidden in the streets and on the rooftops of the city, of the town of Pemberley Ridge that you can see below, lift up into the air. Three what you thought might have been flocks of birds or effigies, suddenly launch up into the air and are flying away, undulating away through the sky. In this almost like it's following in concert with it. And each of them, every time it looks like they're going to collapse down into the town, they just fly up once more until you can no longer see them at the distance. The two of you scramble down. The rock of the cliff face continues to tumble. You start racing and racing away. Meanwhile, Lullaby, the floor is going out beneath you. Do you just make a beeline for the exit? Do you shout out to anyone? Do you care? What do you think Lullaby does?
Yeah, running through the halls. Wake up! The floor is falling. Get out.
And you see a servant comes out. It's like, what? And then the ground disappears beneath them and they go falling and tumbling down to the earth. You hear the sounds of of various people calling and shouting out. You see Dr. Swain coming out in his sort of night clothes with one of those Ebenezer Scrooge type hats and things off to the side. And it's like, what have you done? What have you done? You set her free! You set her free! And just goes racing past you like they're going to do something at this point, but it's far too late. You see Lullaby burst out through the front door of the manor house, those large, grandiose double doors. We see a handful of servants and others following behind you. We don't see Phineas. We don't see Elsbeth. But Lullaby, you get away in time to see the manor just begin to implode and collapse in on itself. Petra, Lena, you race and race. Part of the manor in the cliff face, much like a rock slide, comes down and takes out a few of the buildings of Pemberley Ridge, but none towards the center. It's kind of these outskirt buildings. You're not even sure if anyone would be in there. They're more like these little industrial houses and things. It could be workshops. Maybe not where people are currently because it's 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Unlikely anyone's there. And as we fade out from there, with the Pemberley Manor collapsing into the mountain itself, whatever this creature was undulating off into the night sky, screen goes black. Sometime later, we're gonna hit a little resolution scene here. I'm gonna ask you all to tell us where we find you in a minute, but let's put it this way. In the morning and in the days to come, there's a lot of answers that need to be found. There's tons of questions. What exactly happened to Pemberley Manor? Many folks, the story that seems to get passed around is earthquake, collapsed mining shaft. These are all things that are not uncommon. No one necessarily knew that there was a mine beneath the manor itself, but there are elsewhere in the mountain, in Pemberley Mountain, there are these types of pockets of mines and things. But that's the story that gets cycled around. All of you, however, know a different story. Not just those events, but in the days to come, as you race back maybe to the Guthries, as you sometime later come back and check in on Phineas Delapois and his wonderful gun, you learn that sometime in the morning, dawn, we'll say. When you get back, you find your friend Dora Vix, and she's like racing through the streets to try to find you itself. You see fire on the skies, from elsewhere, like little plumes of fire. And she tells you, Eudora, she's dead. She's dead. And so one of the servants from Buck and Delapois Manor is like saying, I went to check on Mr. Delapois. He was already dead. He was dead. He was dead in his bed. His throat was slit. I don't understand it. I don't understand. And this story doesn't get publicly circulated, but it's something that they come to you with, or maybe a guard comes to you with, but no one else hears about it. And the story of Eudora Guthrie being found with her throat slit just before many of the Guthrie wagons were set ablaze. But what is interesting is that no one ever says where exactly Elsbeth Delapois got off to, or Silas Guthrie. As it seems, despite the fact that the Guthrie family, the entirety of the Guthrie family that came in your wagon trail, that sat around in that little Guthrie camp, all of them are dead. Killed one way or the other, torched, Avery being the only one perhaps who survives. But every Guthrie dead. Silas missing. Some people say he's dead. Some people say he's responsible. No one really knows for sure. And Elsbeth, the story, tragically, is that she died in the collapse, obviously. And you start to ask around, you hear stories, perhaps of seeing her and Silas sneaking out of the manor just before everything kind of started to collapse. Everyone tries to track, where did they go? This way, that way? No one really knows. However, one thing is sure, both the Delapois and the Guthries are utterly wrecked, destroyed. Maybe not every single Guthrie, maybe not every single Delapois, but at least the ones that were in power. So, I'll ask all of you briefly, just to give us a little epilogue for your own characters in the aftermath of this catastrophe in Pemberley Ridge. I'm going to start with Lena. What do you think in the aftermath, in the days to follow or the weeks to follow, as everyone's trying to get things situated? What do you think Lena does? What do we think we find her doing? Something like that.
In one of the first few days that they realize that Elsbeth and Silas are missing, and they go out to do a search party kind of thing, Lena sort of feigns illness, and she's gonna try and sneak into dude's office and steal the gun. And
the whole manor collapsed into the mine, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll say this: maybe you go searching for it.
I absolutely would love to, like, pretend I'm part of the rebuilding operation.
We see like groups of people like gathering together, going through the rubble of the manor, digging down into the mine, calling out for help, and we see Lena amongst them. Lena, give me.
This is an attempt. I have no idea if it works or not.
No. High or low?
We'll go. Steven always says you can't miss with the low, so we'll go low.
I rolled a 6. What I'll say for you is that you find it, but it is broken. So you would need to get it repaired. So it's possible. You see it in its beautiful glory, but it's not like it didn't survive the collapse, but you do find it in pieces. The long barrel, the stock. If you find a gunsmith, you probably could piece it together.
She's friends with the gunsmith back in King City, so you're fine. The man she stole line art from.
Okay, Lullaby. Where do we find Lullaby?
He's getting a sense of the weird in the area, seeing how that's stirred up, how the spirits, the water, the earth, the trees, how they're acting. And knowing that we failed our task of protecting both families, they're all pretty much dead, we can't get paid. So he's gonna go to the next watering hole, find another job.
Okay. As you tap into the spirits, one thing that becomes clear to you is that initial kind of anger and resistance they had seems to recede somewhat. And there's certainly like less of the effigies of the weeping willow or the weeping folk showing along the way here and there as you leave. There's talks of the deeper marshes. Like you can definitely hear people thinking of searching for them. Like you hear a story perhaps of Elsbeth and Silas, like maybe they fled, maybe they were responsible, maybe they fled. And so you know that there is this deep, dark marsh that is far off and away from Mount Pemberley. But the spirits themselves are like kind of pointing you in that direction, urging you. You feel some kind of primeval power kind of pulsating from deep in those swamps. And then finally, Petra. Where do we see Petra?
No, Petra came out of this with 3 minor injuries, 2 moderate injuries, and a major injury. So I'm going to say you see her lying flat on her back, resting. Like she's trying to like heal herself, but she has probably had to like sell some things, trade something to kind of get some care, really, because she really needs to kind of like rest up for quite a while to kind of get herself on the other side of this. But she was actually thinking similarly about sort of where these kind of dark marshes are. And so I would say you kind of see, kind of her just looking awful kind of, in the immediate aftermath of this. And then she starts to get kind of a little bit better and a little bit better. And then probably the ending that you see of Petra would be her. She's, I think, found loot. I don't think her horse was killed. I think the horse is still alive. No. So then you kind of see her still not doing great, but kind of atop loot with some, kind of saddlebags packed and kind of riding off.
Okay. So as we fade out of there, just kind of like do this like drifting away drone shot. You see the collapse of the manor house, but Pemberley Ridge as the town itself is mostly intact. You see the dark swamps, the various paths and stuff connecting Pemberley Ridge to various other holes in the wall. We just linger for a moment on this dark horizon far away, where we see these old trees. Maybe we see just this little, this looks at first like a flock of birds, but it's just this kind of undulating mass that lifts up and then dives down into the swampy trees, not to be seen again. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end Veils and Vengeance. We'll call it there. Well done.
Wedding success.
Excellent.
Yay!
You guys totally crushed it by saving everybody. People you were supposed to save.
Yeah.
Everyone fine.
We're poor. We made no money. We had the opportunity for 2 different bounties and got paid for neither of them.
You want to vote that? That's fine. It happens. It happens. All right. Okay. So let's talk for a second about Huckleberry, and then we're going to go into our normal plugs. So we've been playing Huckleberry. Our dear friend Steven, it's up on Backer Kit for a couple more days now. And if you're watching this live and you haven't yet checked it out on Backer Kit, you definitely should. It's an awesome game. It is action horror, and it's just like you could, even just the way we played it, fairly cinematic. We didn't get too technical with all sorts of different things here and there. We just kind of played it fun and loose, and that's the kind of stuff that you can do with this game. So you should definitely take a look at it, and you should definitely back it, and you should back it right now because there's all sorts of awesome physical goodies that you can get along with it, and so consider. And then let's go ahead into our normal plug. So I'm gonna toss it down to my tray. My tray, where can we find you on the internet?
I am multiplex games on YouTube where I make having agnostic or multi-system development content that centers the GM and player experience that you should check out if you feel like checking that kind of thing out.
Absolutely. Link is, if you're watching this later, just check out the links in the show notes, and you should find links to different stuff, including links to the backer kit for Huckleberry and My Choice channel. As for us, next game, probably Monday. I think we might do Somewhere in Danger. We'll see. Tuesday, though, for sure, we got some Hardwired Island. We can see our Cyberpunk Millennials. That Kipster's running us a campaign through that game. Thursday next week, we got Legend in the Mist, as we got back to this past week. And then Friday, I don't know. Steven's being stubborn. I don't know. And we'll go from there. And very soon, I think possibly next Saturday, we might be back to Call of Cthulhu finally. We'll see how it goes. But we're very excited. But that's it for us. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Go check out Huckleberry. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.